Yes, ma'am. Can we do it? We're good, Imam. Thank you very much. Excellent shape.
Hello, Robert. Robert, it just popped up over here.
Yeah, that's who I be.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to the worldwide family, y'all. Peaceful Sabbath as we get about our Abba's business today. Y'all, we got some good understanding that we ask the Most High to help us in this endeavor to bring forth this word, y'all, that we may provide the richness and seek another's wealth.
That's right. Right.
That everybody may be full of spiritual wealth. Because unless we didn't hit that Powerball for $2 billion.
You hit it?
No, I didn't. That's why we're talking about spiritual wealth. Bring everybody up here, and this will make sure everybody will be able to meet any requirement when you have the knowledge. Like Revelation 2:9 say, I know thou suffer tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, y'all. So we want to keep that richness going with the word of the Most High, y'all, because with no money in your pocket, you better than a fool with $1 million in his.
That's right.
Wow.
To get this
All right,
lesson
family.
going. Yes, sir.
We're going to get this opening prayer. And it is with the Most High's permission.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And is in the name of his only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer. He's also our uncrowned King.
Yes.
He's Yahushua
Yeah, he is.
HaMashiach.
Yes, sir.
But we know him as Jesus the Christ, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Reading in the book of Psalms,
Read.
in the 11th chapter, it reads, In the Most High put I my trust. How say ye to my soul,
Yes, sir.
flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow. They make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Yahweh is in his holy temple.
Yes, sir.
The Most High's throne is in heaven.
Yes, sir.
His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men.
Yes.
Yahweh trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and in horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Elohim loveth righteousness.
Yes, sir.
His countenance doth behold the upright. Hallelujah! Selah!
Yes, sir.
All right,
All praises to the Heavenly Father, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Yes, sir. So today's lesson, y'all, we try to do this a couple times out of the year. So today will be question and answers 101-12-22. So y'all, we have other classes out there with questions and answers, but they always have a date by them to let you know what those questions were. Now, Tubai put out a memo just stating, you know, if anybody have any questions on their heart, mind, or soul, we'll get at them. Y'all, so we had the top 4 that we already have on the list. Now, we know some people will probably have some more questions, but basically, some of those may be tied into the 4 we have. So, and if there's a class, a full class we can point you to receive that lesson, we'll do that versus regurgitating the same information. So, y'all, the top 4 we have are what are the 3 transgressions of Damascus, working in the world, but not of the world. So basically, it's talking about dealing or working in a situation where you're a caretaker, and you have to deal with somebody that's, don't follow the diet. So that stretches a long way, y'all. But we'll get into that, and we'll get some clear understanding concerning that. The third one was, why does a lot of camps say you can't do the feast days outside of Jerusalem? So we'll clear that matter up as well. We get some good understanding. And the last question was, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? So, and Nazareth in Judea. So we want to clear up all of that. And any more questions we'll take, but if they fit into any one of these 4 topics, we'll just add it on as we go along. But anything outside of that, too, do we have any more questions? And first of all, let me just thank everyone for their prayers. We had Agvi, and I believe Agvi out of Memphis, but his daughter had to have a procedure, a bone marrow procedure, I believe it was. But the procedure went extremely well. They just waiting on results. So prayers lifted up for that, and also our family, our Jeremiah, Brother Uriah and Hananiah, Sister Felicia, and her grandson. So y'all, prayers work. Prayers are powerful too, y'all. It's a weapon of war that we don't utilize like we should.
Prayer is the key to the kingdom.
Yeah, it's key. But
Faith
y'all,
unlock that door, though.
absolutely. But we have to watch as well as pray.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Because
That's right.
you may try to pray away a prophecy, and that's not written. So your prayer will go in vain. But with that, do we have any more questions too, other than the 4
Yeah, Sister Hoopy, I asked a question that was actually asked last week. And, Sister wanted to know, well, it's actually something that they was kind of going back and forth in the chat about for a moment. I deleted it. But Sister asked, can you break down how many children did Mary and Joseph have?
Mary and Joseph had one child. His name was Yahushua, locally known as Jesus the Christ. Now, she married a 70-year-old man named Joseph who had 3 sons already. 3 or 2 sons, but Mary didn't have any more children after that. And the key to that would be understanding when he was being crucified, and his mother Mary was there weeping, and his favorite disciple, John, or a disciple he loved more than the rest, I should say, he was a tighter disciple. He told her, "Mother, don't weep, it's going to be okay." And he said, "Behold, John, your mother. Behold, mother, your son." So John became a godson to his mother, and Mary became a godmother to John, but he put John in charge of taking care of his mother. If it had been other brothers there, they would have took care of, but his brothers, some of his brothers didn't agree with him. Joseph's son, so y'all, that's the other children. But it says she did not know a man, and he didn't touch her until she brought forth her firstborn child. Now, he may have never touched her because there's no more writings, but we know that he had sons already from a previous marriage, and his wife had passed on. So the household was already prepared for Mary when she got there. Those grown sons were already there. So yes, those are the only children on record of Mary having, and based off of what took place at the crucifixion, there was nobody else to take care of Mary. Now, don't you think he should have went to the other 2 sons first? If Mary had other children, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he put a trusted individual that John was in the bosom of Messiah. I'm talking about close with him. When you're talking about tight, y'all, they tight, y'all. So, y'all, hope that answered that one. But if we need to, we'll get into some scripts concerning it. We'll get into the infancy or the proviangelon of James. If you want to do that, that's some New Testament pseudo-ficuria. Did I say that right?
Pseudo-picker.
Pseudo-picker. Thank you, bro. So in that, the book of James, you'll see that. You'll see in that book, it details when they got married, how old he was, and they had to go to court. They had to perform Numbers 5th chapter because of Mary being pregnant before the marriage ceremony. So it breaks that down to the letter. What else we got?
DJ C note asks.
Shalom, DJ C note. Come on in, youngster.
brother.
Yeah, he got big print. Yeah.
Serge McPeters, yeah, he done followed from the Sunday keeping.
All praises.
Minutes to here.
All praises. All praises. What's up?
He said,
DJ C note asks, did the Pharisees want to kill Paul or Saul?
Saul is
Same individual. It's the same individual. And yeah, they want to kill the Messiah as well. And they'll want to kill anybody that was taking that money out of the Pharisees' pocket. They had a problem. Not only that, but they was even worshiping Diana, which was a stone. It was an idol. And they say they cutting into that money too. This individual named Christ, who is he upsetting everything to come in here and turn over the money table? That's a problem. He in our pocket.
Right.
Yeah, we want to kill him. Not only that, but do y'all know they wanted to, even after he resurrected and he resurrected Lazarus, you know they was going to surround the house to kill the Messiah and Lazarus so the word wouldn't get out that Lazarus was risen from the dead?
Right. Kill him again.
See, them Pharisees was crazy, y'all. Though they were Israelites, but the script tell us, except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees, don't even look for the kingdom. And what the Pharisees were a host, a group of Israelites that performed man-made commandments and forced people to commandments of men.
They were righteous in their own mind.
Righteous in their own mindset, broad their phylacteries, the finest robes, the nicest garb, the chief seats in the synagogue.
Right.
This group that he called vipers and serpents.
Yes.
So when you call a man a viper or a serpent, you call him a snake. And you're talking about the most venomous snake.
Yes, sir.
When you call him that, so you're saying his belly is lower than a footprint. Beneath a footprint. So, y'all, that's what we have to understand. The Bible interprets itself.
We got a lot of vipers walking around now.
Yes, sir. And our thoughts are not his thoughts. He explains what his laws, statutes, and judgments mean so that we may be able to keep them.
Gotta watch them snakes.
You gotta
They
watch
be
them, you know,
walking,
because
they be talking.
And look,
They don't
and the
hit
bottom
some
line
up.
is why we have to watch is because snakes don't attack first. They show you themselves, and if you keep on messing around, then they attack. It's like that man that found the snake
Right, I was
in the
just
snow.
thinking about that.
Oh, cold snake, almost froze solid. He say, pour a snake and brought it home, put it in front of the fireplace, warmed it up, put a bowl of milk there, and the serpent was licking it, and then he went to pet it, and it bit him. He said, oh, what you do that for? He said, you knew I was a snake when you brought me home.
up in here. I'm doing what I do.
I do what I do. This what I do.
Snake stuff.
Yeah, snake stuff. Yeah. So y'all, we got any more two-by before we get rolling?
Sister Queen B. Israel asking for prayer for my 2-year-old daughter. She was diagnosed with, I think that's leukemia.
Leukemia, yeah, we're gonna pray for you, sis. We need that. And what's that baby girl name?
Cancer, her 2-year-old, she didn't give a
Didn't give a name?
Her name is Queen B. Israel.
Oh, no doubt, Queen B. We'll definitely get those prayers going up for baby girl. Y'all, this is a time we need it because now these viruses that they are unleashing are targeting the children. So they're upping the volume on the poison out here that they putting out in the air because a child's immune system is super strong. And if they're able to start to cause problems for a child immune system, y'all, it's getting rough out here. But we don't have to worry about it because if we're in the land of New Egypt, so to speak, look at the back of your dollar, it's just like Egypt. We were there for all 10 plagues. And as long as we had the blood on our doorpost, the death angel just went around it. So we got the blood on our hearts today being in this kingdom because it already told us it's going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah in the last days. And Lot dwelt there.
Even before the blood post.
And Lot,
all them plagues wasn't hitting the Israelites.
no, they wasn't hidden. And look, Lot witnessed some things we can't even speak of.
Oh, no.
And while I'm saying let me say too to Sister Brenda Israel, did get your message, sister, concerning you thought some things got a little bit graphic. So what I'm explaining to you,
What we do?
Sister Brenda
We in
Israel.
trouble again?
And there's no, it ain't nothing personal with sister. It's just the fact, like I
it's
say,
something we said, probably.
we'll do better on the graphics, you know.
know it's something
But we
we
have to
probably did.
explain this where Israel understands this, you know. But if we got into the scripture and explain what the Messiah was saying about us as a people, and we broke down those words to you, what he called us, how he labeled us in Ezekiel 16, what we were saying was lightweight, but we don't want to be a stumbling block for anybody.
nobody,
right?
So what I'll tell you, Sister Brenda Israel, we'll do better in breaking down some things and understanding the graphics of it. We'll do better. But what we also like, Sister Brenda, is if you would also tell us, but I learned a whole lot besides that, or did what you say blocked all of that, because you hone right in on that. But we like to hear also good lesson. I did learn some things through that, because that would be fair and just. Because if you didn't learn anything, then you don't come back on this channel, because it'd be a waste of time.
Right.
So I just wanted to shout sister out, and it ain't personal to sister. We have to take it all, y'all. We have to be careful, and like I say, it ain't nothing that'll shut us down or make us lash out at anybody. You know, sometimes we have to check ourselves. But what we do is, we the Church of Nazareth, and we're gonna get into that. Can a good thing come out of Nazareth, y'all? It may look out of character. It may look out of sync because we ain't dressed up like each other. Well, hold on. Y'all must have called and asked, can y'all wear the same color shirts today?
I told you last time.
No,
Me,
see,
I've been
okay.
knowing him since I was 12, and we ain't never had that conversation.
So y'all may be looking for structure, but you have to always remember we came out of structure called the Christianity Church.
Yeah.
That had all the structure you would be looking for, but it had no understanding.
Right.
If it did, we wouldn't be sitting in here.
That's right.
Theatrical performance.
Yeah, absolutely. What you say again, bro?
Theatrical performance.
Absolutely. So, Sister Brenda, nothing personal, but we also like to hear that lesson y'all did on that was outstanding. I got a little bit of understanding as well.
Right.
Because we can take corrective criticism.
Yes.
Don't hurt us none. It just sharpen us up more.
Right.
But the law is the law, and behavior is behavior. And we got a problem with keeping the law of the Most High, which causes us to have extremely bad behavior, even unto this day.
Yes.
So with that, y'all, we get the lesson going, unless you got one more.
Yes, I do.
Oh, boy, go ahead.
Well, this is probably about 10, 12 more. But,
No, we can't go through all them. Yeah, go
Ready to hit all of
ahead.
them.
Yeah.
That ain't all of them.
We'll pick them back
Said
up
we
if
ain't
we
ready to hit all
can.
of them.
No.
No.
I'm about to scroll through the chat and
Yeah.
screenshot. But Casey Fields asked, hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. Let me scroll up real quick. Why is the sixth commandment why is the sixth commandment should not say thou shalt not kill? I'm sorry.
See, we just had a whole class on that last week.
Right.
I
So-
didn't get it out right. I'm sorry. Let me
Okay.
read it over. It says,
Okay.
why is the sixth commandment, thou shalt not kill, in the King James Version, but other versions say, thou shalt not murder, even though killing and murder are two different meanings?
Well, both of them are killing, though. See, so when you understand when the Bible says thou shalt not kill, that's what it means. Because of the various forms of killing. If you go to war, what you got to do? You going out there with no weapon and hollering, what you waving white flags to the enemy?
No, buddy.
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Somebody gonna get killed, ain't they?
Kill or be killed.
Killed or be killed. Starting with you, right. So, and then we have vehicular homicide. You in a car and you got one lug nut on the front wheel and you driving 60, you gonna kill somebody. If it's yourself.
Starting with yourself, yeah.
And the Bible talks about wounding a man to my own hurt. That means self-defense. And the law say if you have a beast and they get out and gore a man, you're responsible for the death of that individual.
That's true.
That's death by beast that you own.
You are going to try.
If you don't put a battlement on your roof, meaning a railing, and you got guests there and you got them on the second floor and you talking about come out on the deck with no railing, whoever falls, that blood is on your hands.
That's
Go
why
ahead,
you
sis.
have to have your dogs on leashes.
Absolutely.
You have to have everything.
Or inside the
control.
fence. Outside. You have to have control. You can die graveyard love. That's to the point that where you tell your spouse, either it's me and you can't get rid of me, or it's the graveyard. That's killing. Then you have the ultimate out of all the killings that does not have a standard of limitations. I don't care if you did it when you were 13 years old. If you are 113 now and they catch you, they'll bring those same charges up on you. The same exact charges. When you shed murder, it's the shedding of innocent blood.
Yes. Yes.
And we went over Numbers 35 last week, and we went over the various other scriptures that let you know the difference in the forms of killing, many forms of killing. So that was a translation. Was it correct, thou should not murder? Yeah, you should never murder, because it's technically can't get off the books until it's amended for. What you got, young man?
I did a study on this same thing because I wanted to know why the same thing. So I went to the concordance of the
Remove your hat, young man. So, men have to uncover, women have to cover. Don't worry about a lot of people up in there, guys, Larry Stooges or whatever. Don't worry about your hair. Yeah. Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro.
So I did a study on that, and I looked in the concordance
Uh-huh.
on the word murder and the word kill.
Uh-huh.
So the word murder translate from Hebrew as dash to pieces.
Uh-huh.
Versus kill translate as just to take a life.
Well, right, and see, and the two are still the same because both of them takes a life. So dead is dead, but what I'm talking about, if you shed innocent blood, if you attack a child like they do, Messiah say there's no repentance in this world or the world to come if you hurt a child in its innocence. So y'all, that's what we have to understand. Some are death penalty killings, and that's to touch a child. The other one is to take the mark of the beast. Now you committed the ultimate case of suicide. I want y'all to understand that when you take the mark of the beast, it says there's no forgiveness in this world or the world to come. That's suicide. There's the talk of killing, when you destroy the conception. Meaning that when a woman's pregnant, whether she 1 month or 9 months, if something happens to that fetus before it comes out of the womb, well, there's a broad line we have to deal with that. What if she have a miscarriage? Do we have to examine what caused it? Was she 3 months and went to Six Flags and got on the Screaming Eagle? No, we need to examine that. What you get on that for and you pregnant? All that bumping and shaking and turning them curves, you trying to get out of something. Or was it either the death of the parent or the child, and that had to be performed? Also, y'all, I'm going to say this, we'll move on. We had the description, and why I touched on that, because last week we touched about a man's seed and different things, but also it said if two men were striving, and one man hit the wife who's pregnant in the stomach, she's kind of in the way, and she get hit and she miscarried, you have to really look at the language that they say. If it was personable, he going to pay a heavy fine. But if he lost the child before it was born, then he pays a penalty for that child being stillbirth. So he's not technically put to death for that. He has to pay a fine because it was accidental. He could have been bagging back and an elbow hit in the stomach. Now she miscarried. Now what they had planned for that child or whatever monies was spent, he owed that back. But it wasn't intentional. That's why we got into that Numbers 35 last week. We got into a couple other chapters to break down the difference in the two. Mob activity. If you are part of it and the leader kills somebody, guess who all get murder charges even though you was just with the crowd and didn't do nothing? You get the charge too. Yeah. We just had an event where some youngsters ran through a red light in a stolen car, and the passenger in the stolen car, he died. The driver jumped out running like a werewolf. When they catch him, guess what's on his jacket? The murder of his friend. Even though he went out in the traffic, he gets that on his jacket and he will be charged with that.
Listen, if they in the commission of a crime and the police kill one of them.
Yeah.
They get charged with that.
They still get charged. The
Yeah.
police had to
Charged
kill
with
him.
that.
You still get that because you're in the midst of a crime. And not only that, but the boy that's sitting on the passenger side, he died in his sins. Riding on the passenger side in a stolen car. So his next waking moment is Judgment Day, and the last thing he remember, I was riding in a stolen car, a carjacked stolen car. It's y'all. So all of these things have to be meted out, but the Bible explains itself. We don't have to go outside the Bible. It'll explain every law it says in detail, 4 sides. It has to be 4 sides so we don't get like bro was just saying, he did a study and said murder is that, but the bottom line is when you murder, what happens to the individual? If you just happen to don't see him at the stoplight, run a stop sign, where they at? They gone, ain't they? If you didn't nail them steps down right and they fell down to the basement and broke their neck, who get that?
You get it.
But it ain't murder.
You don't need to have no hammer no more.
See, and the difference is, look, right. And the difference is, the difference is, y'all, now, so what's happening now is this America's doing kind of like a double jeopardy deal. If you found innocent, they still charge you with, somebody can come back and sue you. Civil charges, say, well, you caused the death of. See, in Israel, that had to meet all of the criteria. You can't let me off here and then you do a circumvent double jeopardy on me by taking all my money. You still killing me.
They started that with O.J. Simpson.
So absolutely, they did it with O.J. a couple times. They did it with Bill Cosby.
Coming after him again.
Coming after him again.
What is a look back law?
What is a who?
They said they prosecuted him under a look back law.
No, the look back law didn't work. Well,
They
it's the
made
new
that-
law
they
they
made
put
that
back
up.
in.
That's a new one.
They put it back if
They
somebody
looking back.
can prove right. If somebody can prove that you did something to them, raped them or anything, they can come back with it. Now, if we go back to some look back laws,
Yeah.
Everybody
it'd
in
be
there
some
be
problem,
locked up.
won't they, boy? We'd be fat, wouldn't we? If we can do some look back law. What you got, sis? We're gonna move on. Go
I just want
ahead.
to say, I had a cousin several years ago that died in prison from the coronavirus, and how he got locked up in prison. Years ago, he had killed somebody and left town and thought he got away with it. I mean, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, and left and went with his new girlfriend that he cheated on his wife with, married her, and they was high on some drugs, and she got killed in a car crash that they both was in. When they did the retract of his history and found out that he had killed somebody years ago, he got locked up for her being killed in the car crash and the past killing. When his children found out that his mother was killed in a car crash, their children was talking about killing him when he got out of prison. And when I found out about it, I started writing him and putting money on his books in prison, encouraging him about things of God. And he was saying he couldn't wait to get out because he wanted to pay me back. And I said, it's all right, just make sure your relationship right with Christ. Shortly after that, he died in prison from the coronavirus. But the point is, choices have consequences after consequences, and your past that you think you got away with catches up with you.
Exactly.
But relationship right with Christ is the only thing that's gonna matter.
That's right. That's all that matters.
They're personal. Yeah.
So y'all, we're going to go ahead and get the class started. We'll pick up on some more of the questions midstream, but we need to go ahead and get going. Shalom, Elisha Ben Israel.
Shalom, fam.
Yes, ma'am. Obadiah Amos out of Ohio. Yeah, I talked to him last night, Emo. He said he's doing pretty good, but I'm glad you reminded me of that. Shalom, Amos, and your lovely family. Bro, we're looking out for you. Prayers going up. Hope you feel better. And also out to our Ohio family, shouts out to our families out there. Our brother Darrell and them out there. Shouts out to y'all as well. Well, we got y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get this started, y'all. Y'all know how we get down.
Did you want me to read the question so you know where you're coming from?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Start with number one now.
Yeah, Sister Patel's question. It was Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise and prayers. The Father's blessings on all. My question is out of the book of Isaiah, chapter 17. In the reading of this chapter, it gave as a precept Amos 1, 3 through 5.
Right.
And I wanted to know, what are the 3 transgressions of Damascus?
So always the Bible interprets itself. So we'll go back first to the chapter that mentions it, and then we'll go to Amos. So a lot of times what we have to be careful of, y'all, footnotes are an individual's how they may interpret it, the following scripture, the precept upon precept. You still have to check that, because that's still another individual's understanding on how the script. Some be point on, but you still have to check footnotes if they down there. You can't cheat your way through this. Yes, it's an open book test, but it means everybody must study.
That's right.
If you get to a verse and you don't know what that word is and go to the next verse, you just miss the understanding. You have to look up every word. That's why it's a 70-year course. It's the book of life. Life is 70. They say after that you're on good time. So it's a 70-year course. What we rushing through? How you done did this course? I done read the Bible 3 or 4 times. So you did some speed reading.
No understanding.
Right. Right, and it's on the shelf. The book of life is on the shelf.
You got it. You got it all
when
now.
when it's called the book of life, you can read the same chapter multiple times and get more enlightenment of the same chapter. That's why it's called.
That's why it's the book of life.
BIBLE.
Yeah.
Basic instructions before leaving earth.
Absolutely, sis. And so what we're talking about is just getting that understanding before you leave. It's scriptures that you can read when you're 25. You get the rest of it if you make it to 60. Mm-hmm. So you can't understand that part of life because, for one, you're not 60. See, like we heard our people tell us, just keep breathing. You'll know what I'm talking about when you feel knee and elbow pain. So now the scriptures that deal with older age like that, we understand it perfectly now. But we had to get to 60 to do it. You can't understand this. It's just the opposite way too. A man that's 60 and keep talking about when he was 30, how many years of life he done lost? Because you ain't never going back to 30 years old. You ain't gonna never be able to run that fast. You ain't never be able to jump that high. You ain't gonna never be able to stay up 1 hour before going to work. Still go finish your shift. Try it now at 60 and see what happens. Stay out all night. And then try to go to work. Look here, they'll wake you up. You probably under 30.
You can probably do it right now.
Look, long as you stay asleep, you got a job. But it's when you wake up, you get fired. So you better be faking coma. Right.
That's what Cassell did at Emerson, Daddy.
What did he do, stay asleep?
They called Cassell sleep. He said he was praying.
He said he was praying. They're like, okay. So y'all, how we looking? Y'all, we're going to go ahead and get this class started. Y'all, we got behind a little bit. Okay. But the first question, the 3 Damascus. So we'll start off in Isaiah 17 chapter. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start at 1 to get the understanding, y'all. And look, the burden of Damascus, when we get through summing it up in a nutshell, it was about nations that did Israel wrong in the Damascus area, and the burden because he's punishing them. And as we get to Amos, it'll clear it up even more. And then we'll get to Zechariah 14th chapter, and we'll get some more understanding of what took place. Let's get it, y'all.
All right, family.
Isaiah what?
Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1.
Everybody there?
Isaiah 17.
Okay.
All right, family. We're going to be reading in the book of Isaiah.
Who was that?
Stimulus grocery card. Right.
Yeah.
Trust God.
Yeah.
All right, family. We're going to be reading in the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, we're going to start the reading in verse 1. Get some understanding, family. The burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap. The cities of Aurora are forsaken.
Now, if you understand why it's a burden for Damascus is considered the oldest city in the world, so to speak. A city of, governments and different things. Damascus is considered the oldest. The most established city, so to speak, in that area was Damascus. Go ahead.
Verse 2. The cities of Aurora are forsaken. They shall be for flocks, which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. The fortress also shall cease from Ephraim, and the kingdom of Damascus, and the remnant of Syria. They shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, saith the Most High of hosts.
Okay.
And in that day it shall come to pass that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, and the fatness of his flesh shall wax lean.
So something is causing this with Israelites dwelling in Damascus. Y'all, Damascus was close to Mount Seir. It was technically Edomite ruling. Edomitville. Syria was up in there a little bit. Syria mostly, but Esau had a lock on it as well. And as we get through, we're going to see the burden of Damascus. Those who were causing issues for us and basically throwing roadblocks at us. It's almost like the crack epidemic here. They got bust back on the head twofold because of methamphetamines out in Jefferson County, and also the heroin epidemic in Huntsville, Virginia, that's 98% white. And they have 30 ODs a day. They actually now have Narcan vending machines on the streets.
I heard about that.
The police carry it. They didn't carry no crack Narcan for us, did they?
Nope.
But look, they got the police ride around with saving you. And not only that, but they have to have on their bulletproof vest, because when they shoot them with that Narcan and bring them out of it, they start fighting with the police. Man, you messed up, dog. I was in the fifth dimension. Why you bring me out of it? And start fighting the police.
Another thing,
I was there. I had that monster.
Another thing too, when they shoot you with that Narcan, you don't have to go with them.
And you don't have to go with
They
it.
didn't save you, and now you can say thank you very much. I'll see y'all later.
I'll see y'all later. I'll see y'all probably tomorrow.
Right. Today.
Same time, same place. Look, they got pictures of them hanging out the car, this lady and the baby in the back seat. They went to get out the car and passed out, so they were just hanging out the car door. I mean, people just filming it, and the baby in the back crying. Shot them with the Narcan, they pulled on off. Where we at, y'all? But y'all look up Huntsville, Virginia, the heroin capital.
How come in the media covering that?
Yo, you
White
right,
people.
yo, okay, yeah. Well, maybe they ain't found out about it.
If it was black people, it'd be on the
Maybe
news.
somebody keeping it secret from them.
They got so much bad news they can't publicize.
Right.
They want us to keep getting high
Yes.
and
Go ahead, y'all, but they say we're going to give you another. We're going to give you drill rap. That's going to really make y'all kill each other. And then we got the insurance policies on it. Your mama ain't going to get but 10,000. We're going to get millions off you. Let's get it, y'all. Let's speed this up. Go ahead.
We're in verse 5.
Yeah.
And it shall be as when the harvestman gathereth the corn, and reapeth the ears with his arm. And it shall be as he that gathereth ears in the valley of Rephaim. Yet gleaning grapes shall be left in it, as the shaking of an olive tree, 2 or 3 berries in the top of the uppermost bough, 4 or 5 in the outmost fruitful branches thereof, saith the Most High Yah of Israel.
So we're getting into the point that where he's now speaking about if you were a husbandman and you had crops and different things, outside your border, if you had anything go over outside the border and what fell on the ground belonged to the poor, they could come by and pick it up. They could go through there, but they couldn't put nothing in their pocket. If you hungry, and these were hunger laws, Like Proverbs 20:6 or 6:20, I believe, say, don't despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul. Because this is a man on the deathbed, you know, at this point. But it say, we're not going to legalize stealing for him because he's hungry. When he get on his feet, he have to pay back sevenfold. So if you got in there and got an apple and was eating it and spinning that cord like you on a log spinning contest on the river, and you eat that apple up and somebody holler, hey, you hungry, get out of here. You can't do that, you know, because he's eating. But if he start putting apples in his pocket, he going to be back with his friends. Like we used to. Mr. Johnson got an apple tree over there. He go to bed at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock we was in that tree. Yeah, till he come to that door. So we had to leave things for the poor. But you couldn't put nothing in your pocket because then it's stealing.
Right.
So we getting to the point that where that is even, ain't none of that even left. They're on the ground fruit. Go ahead, what else we got? Go ahead.
Verse 7.
Yeah.
At that day shall a man look to his maker, and his eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Israel. And he shall not look to the altars, the work of his hands, neither shall respect that which his fingers have made, either the groves or the image.
And see, and this is when you get on your feet, so to speak, you kind of forget about the Most High. You slip into idol worship before you know it. And a grove is we know what that is. That's places where they do Baal worship at. Out in groves. Isaiah 65, Isaiah 64 speak on those in the midst and, you know, in the groves and eating swine's flesh. So it speaks of that same grove, one tree in the midst. The preacher, you eat swine's flesh is in their vessel. And they say, stand not near to me, for I'm holier than you. And your belly full of swine juice? Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 9.
Yeah.
In that day shall the strong cities be as a forsaken bough, and an uppermost branch, which they left because of the children of Israel. And there shall be desolation.
See, there shall be desolation, but it's comparing it to the fruit that used to be out there for the strangers, and then the only fruit left is in the highest branch. That's like hungry and looking way up there, and you drawing short straws to see who's gonna climb that tree.
Right.
Mo, you think you can climb that tree and get that last banana?
No.
Yeah, knock it down. Absolutely, bro. What you say? You had that beauty supply stick. You know that stick when they reach up there and get the good wigs. You know the bad wigs down low, but they'll reach up there. That's the $300 wigs. You need that stick, huh, Mo? Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 10.
Yeah.
Because thou hast forgotten the Elohim of thy salvation.
Who have we forgotten?
The Elohim of thy salvation.
So when you understand verse 7, when it say, thy maker who is the Most High and his Holy One. Now we done forgot. This is why it's coming on it, because we forgot the God of our salvation.
That's right.
Read some more, bro.
And has not been mindful of the rock of thy strength.
And y'all have not been mindful. Y'all, last week we read about Abraham, you know, when Satan was trying to get at him. And he told the Most High Satan, he said, where you come from? He said, I'm talking about Abraham. He said, since you gave him Isaac, I ain't heard him pray to you out loud. I ain't seen him do no feast day. I ain't seen him do nothing since you gave him his son. Take the son and see what he'll do. I bet he curse you to your face. He like, who you talking about, my servant Abraham? Not Abraham. If I told him to sacrifice him, he'll do it. Look, I gave him to him when he was 99 years old. He know it's a gift anyway. It had reversed. If he only did that to let me know I still was able to have a child in this breathing breath, he showed me enough.
Even though him and his wife laughed at him.
Well, she did. She laughed. You know, so they had to visit her back because the angel told her, no, you're going to laugh later.
You're going to laugh.
He said, but you're going to cry later. And she did, because she died before he got back from going to sacrifice Isaac. And Isaac wasn't no baby. Isaac was 37 years old. Yeah, he was that old because, look.
And he was willing to put his life down.
Yeah.
He was willing to die.
She died as 127. And she died before they got back. So and she had him at, how old was she? 90?
90.
So you deduct 127 and 90, and what you get? You get that number, or 80, whatever she had. You're going to get 37. But Jasher say he was 37 years old. So we got witnesses, the book of Jasher, that witness how old Isaac was. The Bible witnesses as well. Go ahead, y'all. So we're going to continue on.
That 10 again.
Yeah.
Because thou hast forgotten the Elohim of thy salvation, and hast not been mindful of the rock of thy strength.
Yeah.
Therefore shalt thou plant pleasant plants, and shalt set it with strange slips. In the day shalt thou make thy plant to grow, and in the morning shalt thou make thy seed to flourish. But the harvest shall be a heap in the day of grief and of desperate sorrow.
Do y'all understand what that means? They saying this burden is so bad that, look, you're told to be fruitful and multiply. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But how about doing that while you're in captivity? You may not get to enjoy that baby for a weekend. Come for that baby. No, Samassa, not Junior.
Yes, Junior.
Junior got to go. He's worth a pretty penny
Yes, Junior.
on a Hamilton farm, a plantation. So even having children, y'all, it was a blessing, but a curse at the same time because you're in captivity. Go ahead, what else to say, bro?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations, that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters.
Right.
The nations shall rush like the rushing of many waters, but Yah shall rebuke them, and they shall flee far off, and shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind. And behold, at evening tide, trouble.
At evening time, what?
Trouble. And before the morning, he is not. This is the portion of them that spoil us, and the lot of them that rob us.
Because Deuteronomy 28, we was told that. In the morning, we would say, we wish it was evening. And in the evening, we would say, we would wish it was morning because of what the slave master used to do all day. You're like, I wish it was night. He'd go in the house and go to sleep and leave us alone. Well, at night, we wish it was morning because he putting on them suspenders and want to come in there and tell you to go in the other room while he have his way with your wife. Boy, we wish it was morning. He wouldn't do this if everybody could see him. So this would happen to the nations that do this to Israel. This is the burden of the matter. But now when we get into Amos 3, it's going to break it down even more because here a little bit, there a little bit. But if you go back to chapter 16 of Isaiah, which we can't get into now, that's your homework, it will open the door for chapter 17. 18 get into some things as well, where he's going to pull a tribe out of Ethiopia. And 18 get into, he say, my presence is there. Well, we know the tribe of Dan is in Axum, Ethiopia. And they have that one church there. They're separate. They're not Ethiopians. Shalom, Akwan. They're Israelites that dwell in Ethiopia.
I got a couple of fishes I caught.
Okay, guys, bring them fishes over here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see you using that good bait. Come on in, shalom, y'all. Y'all come on in. Go on, grab a Scott, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shabbat shalom, yeah. Shabbat shalom, Mark. Come on in. Y'all come on in. Today, y'all, we doing a shalom, Magdi. Y'all, so for y'all just getting here, y'all, normally we have a set topic. But today, y'all, we doing questions and answers. This is class. So, y'all, we study to show ourselves approved, instant in season and out of season. We got 4 topics that questions was asked because we, y'all, we film live stream this worldwide. So we asked the audience, and the 4 questions was the 3 transgressions of Damascus, in the working world, working with somebody that may despise the law. What do you do? Also, the 3rd topic was, can we keep feast days outside of Jerusalem? And the last topic, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? So, y'all, this is class. All you got to do is raise your hand. We'll get right to you. We answer any question. We don't put you on the back burner and say, no, we got to come back at that later. Now, we don't claim to know everything. Right. But if we say we're going to get back with you, we're going to get back with you that day and hour, the Most High willing, if we have breath in our body.
That's right. That's right.
Because we studied at minimum 2 or more. So if something happened to that one, the other one will have the answer still.
But see, and then another thing is the fact that any questions that are proposed to us, we don't answer them of our own thoughts and feelings.
Right.
We take it to the script.
That's right.
Prove it by 2 or more witnesses, like the scriptures say. By 2 or 3 witnesses shall everything be
Confirmed.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, y'all. And y'all, we want everybody to understand how we get down. We believe the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. We don't believe there's one word in here. There's no tampering in this Bible because it says it's been purified by fire 7 times. The only thing that's been tampered with is your mind. The Bible explains itself. That's right. Where tamperings come in is when they try to take you outside the Bible or add something into the Bible, but it interprets itself. We don't have, look, the Bible been here long before we was. When we got into this here in this nation, 2,000 years had already passed, ain't it? Right. So how can we be tired after 3 weeks and say, I'm tired of the Bible already? You knew when you getting in, the Messiah hadn't been back for 2,000 years. So how you get tired now? You understand what I'm saying? So y'all, we believe that he is born of a virgin. He's the high priest after the order of Melchizedek. After the veil was rent when he was crucified, we look behind that, so we out of the order of Aaron, the schoolmaster. Everything we read about law will consist of what it says because the law never changed. Only thing changed was the priesthood, and that's what Paul was trying to instruct everybody from Hebrews chapter 2 to verse 10. He was just telling you the priesthood. He said, I'm an expert. I'm magna cum laude in Aaron. I did Aaron. I put Stephen to death under Aaron. But the Messiah told him, you kicking against the pricks. Why you killing people about me when that same law you read said I was coming? And I was going to take the place of Moses' writing, so to speak. Moses spoke of me. And then he had to blind Paul, who was Saul at the time. He blinded him for a couple days, get his mind right. But then he did something what nobody else do. He had to go back to everybody, family he killed, go back to them and tell them, I'm sorry about what I did, but let me tell you about the Messiah that I've been kicking against the pricks for. So y'all, we don't have a problem with the Bible being tampered with and laws and things. What we have a problem with is understanding who's our high priest.
Right.
You got camps out of New York, all over, that they have high priests. They have captains of 50s, and that ain't in the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek order, the first priest was Adam. We had Melchizedek priests all the way up until we came out of Egypt to Mount Sinai. That was the order of Melchizedek. It flipped to Aaron at Mount Sinai, and Aaron ran the killing of bulls and goats until the Messiah was crucified, and the veil was rent where only the high priest goes back. Now we can look back there. So that veil was rent. So that means that order went out because John the Baptist said, he shall increase and I'm going to decrease.
Right.
John the Baptist did water baptism to repentance. The Messiah came with fire of the Holy Spirit. It trumps water baptism, but we're not saying don't get water baptized. We're just saying baptism of the Holy Spirit trumps water because you can go down and still come back up a wet sinner.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
A soggy sinner, yes sir. But with the Holy Spirit coming over, you're going to get the gift of the Holy Spirit. You'll prophesy. You can't get that just being dumped in water.
Right.
Because that's just a ritual, not saying that it has no power.
Witness.
What we're saying is the same thing like fringes. Fringes came about of disobedience. Let's get this understood. Abraham never wore fringes. Jacob never wore fringes until the wilderness. And it was because a man didn't go pick up sticks. So we had to be whipped and told, wear this so you don't get another whooping.
And was still
doing it.
Still was sinning with the fringes on.
Right.
But when the Holy Spirit came, it brings things back to memory. Not, if you have to put on fringes, then that means this ain't fixed yet. Right. This ain't fixed yet because you have to keep looking down. Not saying that we don't wear them. We wear our fringes.
I got them on.
But don't get it twisted and make us say you're out of line or you're out of order because you don't have your fringes on. First thing we ask is, how did fringes come about? Because we didn't have them on in Egypt. Abraham never wore them. Jacob never wore a pair of them. He died in Egypt. They came about for disobedience. That don't take it away because it's a correction.
So now, why they checking for fringes? Are they checking for circumcision?
Oh boy, look here, boy.
Who got that job?
Who got that job at the door?
Right.
fat eye.
Because first of
I
all, you
shall
got to
see
be
a fat
circumcised
eye.
in your heart.
Yeah.
You got to have your fringes on your heart.
That's right.
You don't need to have
Can't
to
see
be
that.
seen of men.
You can't
Right.
see
You
that.
understand? It's a accessory or a fashion.
It's the way you live.
Yeah, it's in your heart, man. It's
Yeah.
got to be your second nature. It is simple, man. Just
And
niggas make me sick with that.
I know it, bro.
Yeah.
See, look.
Y'all done got him mad.
And see, y'all, why it's so important that we understand who the high priest is because you got these camps calling themselves triple high priests. They got captains of 50. When 1 Corinthians 12:29 tell us, it gives the administrator. First apostles, then prophets,
tripping high
then
priest.
thirdly teachers,
Tripping.
then this, then that. That captains of 50 in Samuel 1, chapter 1, verse 8. If you don't start at verse 1, you start at 8. That's where they start. And you should be captain of 50. But that's a punishment. It's not a come up. Because 1 through 8 tell you, okay, y'all don't want Christ as your kingdom. Okay, we'll give him a king. And they chose Saul. He said, but this is the manner of your king. He gonna run y'all like monkeys.
He gonna dog you
Y'all gonna
out.
be do boys. He gonna take your women and they gonna be confectionary.
He gonna have
They
your
gonna run
children
you
working.
like a rented mule, but they only start. He shall make you captains over his people by 50. So they start there like it's a plus versus it's a minus.
Right.
You can't be a captain over 50 nowhere.
Right.
Especially in captivity.
In captivity?
See, don't worship me like them.
Oh, look here.
Right.
So y'all, if we ain't got no questions, y'all, we're gonna continue on with the lesson. Questions.
my
And
question.
any brother, y'all got any questions, y'all, stop us. We answer on the spot. This is class, and we may not be here next weekend, so we try to get it in while the Most High allows breath in our body.
I was gonna ask something about Daniel, like you was saying about the high priest. Like, first of all, Daniel was saying something about the daily sacrifice being taken away. But when I go to Ezekiel, he say in the New Jerusalem, the high priest is the only one that can sit at the table with the Most High, and all the priests are they bring in offerings and sacrifices in the New Jerusalem to the high priest.
Well, the bottom line, once again, we got to find out who the high priest is. See, so that don't get you in error. We got a priest problem. Y'all, we don't have a law problem. We got a priest problem. And if Joseph is Christ's father, then he cannot be an unblemished lamb. Right. Because when you teach that, you have to say he had sex with Mary and got her pregnant before the wedding ceremony of the whole crowd. That makes him a blemished lamb. I don't care how you twist it. The law say if a man entice a maid and lie with her and get her pregnant, he has to marry her. But that's coming off a fault. You're correcting, I couldn't wait. So if you're saying the one who's coming to correct everybody of their transgression, Isaiah 53, he can't be born in sin. He can't be born that way as Joseph, his father. He cannot be that way because he's a blemished lamb. It's one thing, the angel was sent there to talk to Joseph about the baby, the conception, and that means to make pregnant. Joseph said, I didn't make her pregnant. The angel said, we know. She's pregnant of the Holy Spirit. It's free of lust. She didn't even know she got pregnant. She said, I've never known a man. They add until after Joseph. No, you put that in there. And what's the punishment for adding or taking away? Grave danger, y'all. So y'all, we have to understand these things. And if you say, well, that's the natural order for a man and a woman to get together, then kindly tell me who's Adam's daddy. Because his mama is virgin dirt, so who's his daddy? See, now we get back to the two only individuals in the book that's ever called the Son of God. Adam and Messiah. Everybody else is the sons of men. We're the sons of men. Now, we can become the son of the Most High if we keep these commandments.
In faith
In faith.
of Hamashiach.
So, y'all, we're going to move on. Y'all, like I say, y'all got any questions, stop us in the midst. But we in Isaiah. Did we get out of that? Okay.
Going to Amos 3, wasn't
We're going to Amos chapter 3. And y'all, what we're talking about,
Chapter 1.
yes,
Oh, my
we're
bad.
talking about
My
the
bad.
burden. The question was the 3 transgressions or burdens of Damascus.
Oh, yeah.
And so what we're seeing is
As soon as I turn
nations roughing up Israel. Now, since the Bible is 2 witnesses, one witness will tell the story, the other witness will explain it in detail. You know, like so, and I'm just saying this, we're gonna move on. Like when you see Noah, it say Ham uncovered Noah's nakedness. So you got the Muslim teach it was a homosexual act. You got most Christianity teach it was just he uncovered his father, looked and put the covers back on. His brother had to put the covers back on. But when you go to the law of the Most High, because he instructs us, he tells us what it means to uncover a man's nakedness. Deuteronomy 27 and 27. Leviticus 18 and 20, Leviticus 20:11, Habakkuk 2:15, 1 Chronicles 5, 1 Corinthians 5. The man that lieth with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. That's his nakedness because you one flesh. Then it go on Leviticus to tell you, if a man uncover his father's brother nakedness, who is his father's brother? What would that be to you? Your uncle. You should not approach unto your aunt. So the law is clear on detailing what crimes are, because they would put you to death for certain things. It had to be detailed, y'all. So bump what the Muslims say. Ham and Noah broke the commandment and broke street rules as well. He got high on his own supply. He was a husband. He made wine and got drunk and was uncovered, laid out like this. And Ham saw the nakedness of his father, which probably wasn't his mother, because Noah was 600.
I thought the son went in there on Noah, like Noah wasn't.
See, and that's what we're talking about now. Noah awoke and know what his younger son had did to him. It's only two ways you can deal with that. That's either somebody told him your son had your way with him, or he reached back and say, "What is this grease and butter?"
Right.
You just said you was going to...
Look, no, look.
I told you.
But look,
I told you.
we had to get it understood. How would
We
he
always
know?
got to get it understood.
How would he know what they did? Look, I scaled it back.
You scared
I scaled it back.
Okay.
What is this grease and butter?
What is this
Okay.
grease and butter?
And where did meat come from?
What that meant, right. So he uncovered and he was cursed. Cursed be Canaan, because Canaan is the offspring of that. So y'all, and Reuben did the same thing. Reuben went into Bilhah, which is his little brother's mom. That's why when you read Genesis 49, when he giving out the blessing, he said, Reuben, my firstborn, you were cool, but you went into my couch. You defiled me. And he could never sleep with Bilhah again. The same thing when Absalom took David 10 concubines and went into them. David put them away as widows. Never touched them again, because his son had touched him.
But the land is defiled.
The land is defiled. So y'all, we understand the Bible interprets itself. We're not going to make up any rules in here. We'll just lead you to the law that explains it. Like Habakkuk 2:15, woe to the man that give his neighbor to drink, that he may uncover his nakedness.
So you saying uncover the nakedness is the sexual
Sleeping
act,
with his
not
wife.
just looking at
No.
Yes.
So like Habakkuk 2:15, if y'all ever watch the movie Denzel in a Devil in a Blue Dress, you'll see Denzel, after he get his partner drunk, then he go into the bedroom with his wife. So he put the bottle to his mouth and uncovered his nakedness. And when they got through, the man woke up from his stupor, told me, I hear word, told me my baby ain't right. No, your baby wasn't right. Not at least while you was drunk. So the Bible interprets itself because they're curse words. So that's where we're going to move on. That's where we get the curse word MF. And who dominates that word more than anybody? What group of people?
The king of it.
See, and MF is a mother. F-U-C-K is always in capital, for unlawful carnal knowledge. And you put an ER on there. Mother for unlawful carnal knowledger. But we love that word. You a black mother. You a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
MF.
Yeah, but it's a curse, because Deuteronomy 20:17, curse be the man that lieth with his father's wife. That's why it's a curse word. A curse was pronounced on you if you did that. What?
You ugly.
Oh, you ugly MF. That's the main one, boy. Look, and when you realize what you're calling them, you will understand curse words are not railing. Railing is put a bunch of curse words together in one sentence. Thus you have Cat Williams.
You don't know how to communicate intelligently.
But railing is to run curse words as your whole language. Like how we used to do because curse words was told you was cool.
Yeah.
See, man, GD me, man. You know, I'm a bad mother. See, when I dress like this, man, can't nobody touch an MF like me, dog. See, you.
Like
What?
that picture with you and them $12 last week.
Yeah. I
You
was
was
bad.
bad.
I was bad at the Regal room then. Yeah. Let's get some more, y'all. Let's get caught up.
We in the book of Amos.
We're in the book of Amos, y'all.
Where you want to start at?
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1,
1,
verse 1.
We're going to start at 1.
Yeah. So we'll catch up, y'all. Everybody on if y'all got any questions about what we saying up here, y'all raise your hand, y'all. The Bible interprets itself because we have to make sure every tub sit on his own bottom.
That's right.
Because y'all, we can't hold nobody's hand. Real quick before we get to that, hit me real quick, y'all. Ezekiel 14. Give me verse 14 and 4 and 14 and 20 before we hit that Amos. Just so we get an understanding of who's responsible for who. Nobody can hold your hand. What is it, 14 and what? 14, 14 and 14, 20 of Ezekiel. Somebody read that real quick so we can get some understanding. It's going to list men of renown.
Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 14.
What it say?
Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls.
They should do what?
Deliver but their own souls by their righteousness.
By their what?
By their righteousness.
By their righteousness. You can only deliver yourself. Right. You can't drag nobody across the finish line. You can introduce them to the word, but that's as far as it goes. That's why Paul say, I only baptized 2 people, water baptism. He said the house of Stephanus and the house of Gaius. He said, but the Lord didn't send me to baptize. He sent me to preach the gospel. And that's what Paul did. He went and preached God. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom. Bye, shalom. Beautiful.
Yo, that's our family, y'all. We'll tell you about in the head-on collision. Most High had that protection on.
He tells us also to work out our own salvation.
Work out your own salvation.
If we don't share with them, their blood is going to be required at our hands.
Absolutely.
So you're going to have to hit that Philippians 2 and 12 after that.
Yeah, go ahead. Hit that, y'all. We'll hit both of them lights. You grab it real quick, like.
You want to jump down to 21?
No, verse 20.
Verse 20?
Yeah.
Though Noah, Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 20. Though Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, as I live, saith the Most High Yah, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter. They shall but deliver their own souls by their righteousness.
See, so y'all, we have to understand you can't drag nobody. That's why it says you can lead a horse to water, but you can't do what? You can show a man the scriptures and truth, but you can't make him do what? Think. So y'all, we just wanted to run that. What you got, Elijah? That Philippians 2?
2 and 12.
2 and 12. Go ahead and hit that, Elijah, real quick. Y'all, and what we're talking about is who our high priest is. It's Christ Yahushua, locally known as Jesus the Christ. He's our high priest. He's our only high priest. He's the final high priest. He's the high priest that picked it up from Shem. We are royal priesthood that Peter spoke about. We got one high priest, and we're royal priesthood. We're little priests. Just like under the order of Aaron, Aaron and his sons were high priests. Moses was not a high priest. It was just him and his sons were Levitical priests. They couldn't go into the holies of holies. Moses couldn't even go back there. Only Aaron and his sons. Shabbat Shalom. When Aaron got court-martialed in the wilderness, they took his robe off of him and they didn't put it on Moses. They put it on his son Eleazar. So like manner, when Shem was the last high priest, according to the book of Jasher, 16th chapter, that Melchizedek was Shem. Shem had that. That's why he broke bread and wine with Abraham and introduced him to the priesthood of Melchizedek. And who is Melchizedek? If you ask most camps out here, they make it sound like it's some dude that show up here and there. Oh man, that dude? Man, don't nobody know who that dude is. Well, the scripture break down who Melchizedek is. Say he's without father and mother, and you can't find his beginning. Who's the only one in existence in the universe that apply to?
Ancient of Days.
The Father. Christ is after the order of Melchizedek. after his father's order. He's the high priest. If you let another priest come in here on us, y'all, your sacrifices are not counted, but as dung.
Right.
Let's get some more, y'all. Where we at? Like, you got it.
Yeah, Philippians chapter 2, verse 12.
Yeah.
Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation.
What you got to do, Elisha?
Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Right. Look, we learned in Christianity and church, my pastor this, my pastor that. Like, pastor going to be asking the Messiah, now come on, Messiah, I know this individual. I know this individual. He showed up at church every day. I vouch for him. No, that ain't going to be the case. No, you can't vouch. He going to be trembling himself.
And then Paul says, let us consider the whole duty of man. Seek ye first the kingdom of God.
And all its righteousness should be come to you. So, y'all, we got a clear understanding of who our high priest is. Unblemished, undefiled, never sin, and no guile found in his mouth. And guile is trickery. Crooked mouth talking. The 144,000 are male virgins, and no guile is found in their mouth. The only person we see in the New Testament capable of it is Nathaniel, because the Messiah said, an Israelite indeed with no guile in his mouth. Most of us had guile this morning and have to remind ourselves it's the Sabbath, and I'm guiling my rear end off. And it's the Sabbath.
Even with my friends, you know.
With my friends, damn. I have to try to shake it off. But I'm talking about no guile. Straight shooter, y'all, no chaser. Tell you what the Lord said and mean it. I'm not going to water this down. And live it. Let's get some more.
All right, family, we're going to be reading in the book of Amos, chapter 1, and we'll start the reading in verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Is everybody there? All right, we'll tell you for you, fam. Shabbat shalom, Mikey Darrell. How you be, brother? Thank you so much, my brother.
Look like a coaching jacket you got on. You coaching the Raw days, cause the Raw Nights already taken.
Here we go.
I played with the Raw Nights.
You did. Let's get it, y'all.
The book of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Man, we used to smash.
Not mine. Not mine.
Y'all can talk that talk. Y'all finna talk about it, ain't they? Elisha was talking about when he had on Micmac cleats, he ran 2 touchdowns. Go ahead, what we at? We got a question about that.
Smash going on.
Yeah, you must have been on them. You
Anybody
must
have
have
a
been on
question
the
back there?
lights.
Y'all good?
Yeah, I was.
I was like,
Oh, the Raw Nights. Go ahead.
Because on the heavies we raised.
Yes, sir. Go
the
ahead,
book
Joe.
of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 1.
What it say?
The words of Amos, who was among the herdmen of Tekoa,
Right.
which he saw concerning Israel in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 years before the earthquake.
See, and it's specific, y'all. If we always go to chapter 1, verse 1 of any chapter, it always lends subject matter. Somebody point to verse 8, they cherry picking you. They can make that verse say whatever they want it to say. So we always teach, go back 3 verses or move forward so you get the subject matter. So we get the subject matter is 2 years before the earthquake. And y'all, this earthquake is very important that we remember because it's lending a time frame when this happened. Like we may remember the flood of 93 here in Missouri. New Orleans remember Katrina. So this is a marker. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
And he said, the Most High will roar from Zion.
Where you gonna come from?
From Zion. And utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the habitations of the shepherds shall mourn. And the top of Carmel shall wither. Thus saith the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Damascus, and for 4.
So now the sister's question, this was the question. But it goes back to Isaiah 17 to understand what initially took place. Amos is now finna break down what Isaiah was saying. It's like in the book of Daniel, in the 12th chapter, he told Daniel, seal up the book. This all you get. You got to rest a little season. John on the island of Patmos going to pick up where you left off, and we're going to finish the writing. So that's when we get the Antichrist being put down, the mark of the beast out there. Daniel only hit on it. But John the Revelator went into explicit detail of what was taking place, what Daniel saw. Let's get some more.
I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have threshed Gilead with threshing instruments of iron.
So that means they threshed them with instruments of iron, y'all. They put that heat on them, killing them with picks and shovels. And go ahead.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
But I will send a fire into the house of Hazael, which shall devour the palaces of Benihadad. I will break also the bar of Damascus, and cut off the inhabitants from the plain of Avon, and him that holdeth the scepter from the house of Eden. And the people of Syria shall go into captivity unto Kir, saith the Most High.
So this is a burden. This has to do with what y'all did to Israel in Damascus, the oldest city in the east, I should say. Go ahead.
Verse 6.
Yeah.
Thus saith the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity, to deliver them up to Edom.
What did they do?
To deliver them up to Edom.
See, this is why we got to be careful about going back to Nigeria and Africa and different things like this, because Africans sold us to the Europeans when we got run out of Jerusalem. We could blend in with them. But they got tired of us. And they say, y'all looking for them. We know who they are. If y'all ever see the movie Shaka Zulu, in one scene they ask, who was those over there in them white? They say, oh, them just the Jews.
That's what they said, just the Jews.
Just the Jews, just some runaway Negroes.
What about that movie with Fred Williams, The Legend of Negro Charlie?
Yeah.
That old crazy priest, he chased him at the end with Fred killed him. He said the lost tribes of Israel were black.
Yes, sir. So, y'all, this ain't new what Kyrie and Kanye is doing. It's just becoming new to the world. But they've already known, y'all.
It's prophesied.
It's nobody that goes to church and read the description of Christ and not in their mind saying, this could be a brother. I'm not going to believe it, though. I don't believe it. Let me keep reading. Let me look at my picture. Yes, flowing blonde hair. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. I'm not going to believe my lying eyes. Yeah, absolutely. Look.
Episode of J.J. Penney, this is the one I know and love.
In good time. Yeah. But we're not to have either one, black nor white, because they're idols. And what happens is you get that picture in your mind. That could be a picture of Rufus round at the tire shop. Somebody done painted and says the Messiah. And every time you pray, that picture of Rufus pop in your head. No, you're going to get is a discount on a flat. But you ain't getting in the kingdom. Let's get some more. Where we at?
And then you start thinking that picture going to save you.
Yeah, you will.
And they're going to save you from nothing.
The devising of idols is the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, bro. We got to get caught up.
Verse 7. But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, which shall devour the palaces thereof. And I will cut off the inhabitants from Ashdod, and him that holdeth the scepter from Ashkelon. And I will turn mine hand against Ekron, and the remnant of the Philistines that perish, saith the Most High Yah.
Right.
Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4.
See, and the Most High is saying, y'all, look, he say 4 because he say they went beyond. This is where the term 3 strikes you out come from. But see, he went 3 strikes and he said, but for 4, 3 didn't straighten y'all out. Go ahead.
I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity of Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant. But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof. Thus saith the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did not pursue his brother.
He did.
Because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity.
Right.
And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
So, see, now this is getting back into Esau of what he did, because that's what the whole book of Obadiah is about. It says some Israelites could get away, but you blocked away and ratted them out. Yeah, it's a bunch of them over here. And that's in the book of Obadiah. So we see all of that they've been doing this for the longest.
Yeah.
You know, and he's bringing back the burden on, because y'all have to look, we're talking about the Almighty, the Eternal. His time is not our time.
No.
2 years to us is but a second to him.
Right.
So we have to look at it from that time perspective. He say, 1 day to the Lord is as 1,000 years to us. That's the measurement apart. So when he puts down punishment, he's doing generational curses. Who got a question back there? Go ahead, Thomas.
If 1 day to the Lord is 1,000 years, that means that whole day is every day is perfectly made.
Absolutely, because every day was at least 1,000 years. Because we know, he said, if you sin, you're going to die. Adam lived 930 years. How long Methuselah lived? But we ain't got nobody lived 1,000 years yet, 1 day. So that means they'll go into what we would call everlasting life. That's why they had to get kicked out of the garden, because that was the light. You cannot be a sinner and live in the light.
No.
Get out of here. You can't be in the holies of holies and you have blood under your fingernails. Get out of here. Go ahead. What else to say?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra.
See, and the fire upon Teman, you know, when you look at Obadiah, the mighty man of Teman, these are all the tribes of Esau. When you get into Genesis 36, it lists his 12 tribes.
Dukes of Teman.
Dukes and Temans, they the Dukes of Hazzard. And Eddie Murphy Trading Places, there's the Dukes that run the stocks exchange.
Duke
Prince
of
Harry is Duke of Edinburgh.
Yep.
So we know who the Dukes are and who their offspring is. Genesis 36 run his 12 tribes, just like Genesis 12 run Ishmael 12 tribes. He should be 12 princes. And then Jacob have 12 sons. So these 3 sets of boys with their 12 tribes in and out of the land of the 3 boys that got off the ark that the landmaster still under their name, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. These boys move in and out of those 3 lands that have the promise of Abraham. They move in and out. That's why Esau moves into Russia. That was an island, and took over Russia. They took over Hawaii. They took over Alaska. So they become the islanders. So you think Russian or white people got off the ark because they're in Russia now. They're not Magog. They took over Magog's land. They're not the true islanders. Go ahead. What else we got?
Verse 13.
Yeah.
Thus saith the Most High, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have ripped up the women with child of Gilead, that they might enlarge their border.
See, and it's the same thing, kind of like what Esau did to the Palestinians in 1948 when they got the Balfour Declaration. They moved in there with 800 members and moved out them Palestinians that had 3 million. So I want you to understand what they did. They moved 800 into a space of 3 million and put 3 million in the space of 800 people. So now everybody in the house, you know, you're in the neighborhood like this. Y'all think about that. You take this many people and put them in a box.
Like the projects.
Like the projects, yeah. So that's what they did, and they took Jerusalem in 48. Go ahead, what else say?
Verse 14.
Yeah.
But I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rabbah,
Yeah.
and it shall devour the palaces thereof, with shouting in the day of battle, with a tempest in the day of the whirlwind. And their king shall go into captivity, he and his princes together, saith the Most High.
Yes, sir. So the last one to wind it up, because all of this was to take place, and it started and kicked off 2 years before that earthquake. The earthquake is a measuring point to let us know when the Most High put down the word of the punishment. So you don't move the burden of Damascus to another area. It has to be right before that earthquake. And we'll wrap that up with Zechariah 14. Y'all hit 1 through 5, and that'll wind that one up, y'all, and then we'll move to the next one. Y'all, what we want to do, y'all, the Bible interprets itself, y'all. Let's not get it misunderstood. Yeah. So, y'all, we get a clear understanding of what the Father is talking about. Christ is the volume of the book.
Yes.
You can find him in Genesis 1 and 26, because he said, let us make man. You find him in Revelation 22, the last chapter. And the Lamb and the Almighty shall be the light of it. It's talking about two individuals, Elohim, which is in plural, not singular.
That's right.
It don't mean Christ trumps the Godhead. Christ have power of attorney, so to speak, on earth when he was here for the Father. He spoke the Father's name. Just like you can give a lawyer power of attorney over you, and he go speak everything for you like he's you.
Yes.
Let's get some more of this, y'all.
Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1.
Yeah.
Behold, the day of the Most High. Here's a page.
Here's some pages flipping.
Oh, it's you.
No, it ain't me. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Behold, the day of the Most High cometh, and thy spoils shall be divided in the midst of thee.
Right.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle.
See, so that's why we have to be careful, y'all, when we run in this flee back to Jerusalem doctrine. I'm not saying if you choose to go back to Jerusalem, do it, but you can't be commanded or tricked to go back there, or have a guilt complex that I'm supposed to go back there when every nuclear warhead on earth is pointed at Jerusalem right now.
Ain't no safe spot nowhere.
Ain't no safe spot. Ain't no location salvation. Especially when you taking the same mindset with you. You take this same sinning mindset over to Hawaii. What has changed?
Nothing.
Go ahead.
They coming up with maps over here. That's from Moroccan maps. They got Jerusalem being over here now.
Yeah, we done seen it all, bro. The problem is, this the West, and they say rising of the East. See, the Bible gonna interpret itself.
Well, they got the compass backwards too.
Oh, yeah.
So this was
Express.
the they map. This the east.
Yeah, well, the sun still, so the sun then has to rise in the West. See, you still got setting over here. The sun goes down over here. That's a problem. It don't rise over here. You don't look out and see it coming from Kansas City going up and it goes down in there, do it. No, so the script is like it's supposed to be. What you got back there, Tom?
They reason for that, or excuse or whatever, is that after the flood, the land shit.
Well, look, the earthquake, the Mississippi used to go that way till we had that earthquake. When was that, Mo? In the 50s, where it caused the Mississippi to run back the other way. The Mississippi River was actually running the opposite way. It used to run that way.
The world has changed.
So, y'all, when they say they think to change laws and times, they're not doing anything. Satan has never, ever. There's no verse in the Bible or no other books that you can find that Satan ever made anybody sin. Ever tempted anybody to sin. First thing Satan do is ask you, what your God say to you?
Right.
He said, don't listen to you. Boy, your God is a square. He just don't want you to know some secrets. All you gonna know is the secrets of the devil. It's like that person that knock on your door. We can't come outside. Why? My mama said we can't come outside till she get home from work. What time she get off? 4 o'clock. Well, it's only 1:30 now.
She ain't gonna know you went out.
1:30, they ain't gonna know you went outside. And when you go outside, she get off early. Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Right, call herself coming home early
Early.
so you could get
Yeah,
out.
boy, look here.
I did this for y'all.
And see how you gonna blame.
My friend told me
how
to
you
come
gonna
out
blame
ain't
the
gonna
devil?
work.
Right.
He told me to come out, mama. That ain't gonna work.
Laughing at
You
That
know the
ain't gonna
rules.
Yeah, your friend gonna be on the side
Laughing, yeah.
Yeah, he gonna
And
be
he'll
going
just go
home.
get another victim. But when the Satan came to the Messiah in Matthew 4:4, he asked him only questions about the law. What did God tell you? He said, throw yourself off the cliff. Can't do that, player. Can't tempt the law.
Right.
Turn these stones to bread. You ain't ate in 40 days. Man should not live by bread alone. See, when you resist the devil, that don't mean, get away from here. Get away from here, devil. No, none of that. That's not resisting him. You resist him with the word. And he will flee. Just like anybody else, you talk about truth. Shalom, bro. Like anybody else, you talking about truth. When you start telling truth, if they know you done figured it out, they will flee.
Yes, sir.
I ain't got time for all that. I'm up out of here. Okay.
All right.
Shit, I just asked you to start from the
holler at you.
beginning, not in the middle. Like Messiah do, he said go back to the beginning.
Right.
If you don't believe giants in there, how you believe Adam was made out of dirt and got a soul? Let's start at the beginning.
Right.
I'm not going to question this miracle up here and this one at the beginning. You say okay to that one. What made you believe that one versus this one? Let's get some more, y'all.
Yes.
Verse 2 again.
Yeah.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle.
Uh-huh.
And the city shall be taken.
Right.
And the houses rifled. And the women ravished. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity.
Uh-huh.
And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city.
Uh-huh.
Then shall the Most High go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle.
Uh-huh. Now we're going to get the day of battle, what is related to. Go ahead.
And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives,
Uh-huh.
which is before Jerusalem on the east.
Uh-huh.
And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west.
So right here we got the Mount of Olives going to split in half toward the east and the west. Go ahead. What else to say?
And there shall be a great valley,
Uh-huh.
Very great.
and a very great valley, and half of the mountains shall remove toward the north,
Uh-huh.
and the half of it toward the south.
Right?
And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel.
Yeah.
Yeah, ye shall flee, like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah the king of Judah.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee.
So the birds were the three nations that were steady putting heat on us, and he brought that earthquake on them nations, shook it up bad. So Zechariah 14 is doing the same thing as Acts 2 when Messiah ascended from the Mount of Olives. He told the disciples, why y'all standing up here gazing? The same place, this portal he left from the Mount of Olives, he's coming right back through that same portal, and he's going to touch down on the Mount of Olives. So it say, Matthew 24, if you be in Judea. It didn't say you must be in Judea. If you be in Judea, flee to the mountains. That's your safety zone. Everybody got nuke. Iran threatening every day to send a nuke over to Israel. And once it hit y'all, it's through. Ain't nothing you can do with nuclear radiation but go into that mountain which will shield you. If you be in Judea. Go ahead down to 7 there. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear, nor dark.
Matthew 24, go ahead.
But it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night. But it shall come to pass that the evening time it shall be light.
And y'all understand what this is saying, because now we're going back to Genesis 1:1, because the world is changing over and starting over again. So he say the evening shall be light, because you only had day and night in at the beginning of Genesis 1:1 all the way down to the fourth day. The fourth day the sun and the moon was created. So what is the light of them other 3 days? Christ and the Father, right? So and it's separated from darkness then. But it say, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Well, you have to understand there's no night there. Like today, we only have evening and morning. It's the first 12 hours of the day. But because we're under artificial lighting now, plan B, the sun and the moon and the stars that were created on the fourth day, that had to start governing us because of Adam and Eve them sinning. So we went under artificial light. Now the sun and the moon control how we think. That's why all of the second coming is always the sun and the moon gonna get knocked out. Then you should see the Son of Man coming. So you don't get caught up with the Antichrist, because he's gonna say he's God. The Messiah say, just look up. If you see the sun and the moon working,
He lying.
12 hours like it's supposed to do, that's a liar. Don't believe them miracles. He's still the devil.
Right.
The sun and the moon gonna be knocked out. We're going back to Genesis 1:1 up through the third day, up before the fourth day, where there's only morning and evening. Morning starts 6 a.m. to 12 noon, and then evening starts 12 noon to 6 p.m. and then you got the night hours. But technically, those are the second half of the day. Day starts at night. What's the day, right? What's the day?
Sunset.
The 9th, the 10th. So at sundown today, it's technically would be the 11th. The only difference in this nation, shalom, y'all, and what's written in what this nation just do it 6 hours later. Cause 12:01 and what day is gonna be?
The 10th.
The next day. They just doing the beginning of the day 6 hours later than the script has it. But they still doing it at night. They just doing it 6 hours later. And then the morning and the evening hours come second. Morning and the evening. That was all the first 3 days. When the sun and the moon had to be created on the 4th day, that was in case we failed. And it say Adam didn't last a couple hours in the garden before Satan got at him. Just like Noah didn't last an hour before he got drunk. Satan always come when you get the Holy Spirit. You're a trophy to him then. With you and your corruption, he already got you. I need to get you when your house is clean. I'm going to send 7 more of my boys at you to dirty you back up. Same thing when Lot came out, was saved out of there. His 2 daughters get at him. And you did a level of incest that ain't supposed to be talked about. A father on his daughter or a mother on her son, that ain't never happened in Israel. In the world, period. It's a major sin. That's why they had to stay out 4 generations before they could come into the congregation. We got to get that mongoloid out of you.
Right.
But that bad behaviors create nations. You understand what I'm saying? Moab, even though Lot was a Hebrew, Moab and Ammon became a whole different nation of people, his offspring. Hebrew roots, but a whole different nation. Like Esau is a different nation. He's a Hebrew Edomite. Right. Ishmael is a Hebrew Ishmaelite. And we are the 12 tribes, the Hebrew Israelites that the covenant went through. They didn't get none but earthly blessings. Y'all get royalty. That's why they own everything. All the oil, all the gold, all the banks, everything. But we got that blood covenant. We got that everlasting covenant that y'all will be servants to us forever, y'all. And we want to understand when we're talking about servitude, ain't going to be that cutting off genitals and foots and all that stuff. What we're talking about is like Eleazar was to Abraham. That he thought, the blessing child was going to be Eleazar.
Yeah, it was like a son.
I was just going to say, them was his biological daughters. They weren't just daughters because they lived in his house.
No, they were biological daughters. Yeah. They was
biological. Them was his real daughter. They left her. He actually had 4 daughters.
Yeah.
2 more stayed there. They married. They stayed there. They're like, no, we like this. Like somebody, man, I ain't moving from California. I like this.
Right.
I like people walking around with no clothes on. I love it. It's wickedly.
You say that like that's the only thing going on in
California. Boy, look here. It's going on in California, ain't it?
It is going on, but it ain't the only thing going on.
Vegas is hot too.
There's a lot of gay activity years ago.
We got a question back there. Go ahead, Emo. Y'all, we're going to keep it moving, y'all. Go ahead. Because we got to get into 3 more. Go ahead. What you got back there?
It's like that spirit of sensuality that women have come into. It's like that's wicked spirit of sensuality. Yes.
Well, look, 2 by them. Look, Emo, it's starting young now. Not to cut you off, but Emo, this is starting to get like Sodom and Gomorrah. 2 by sent out a video yesterday. It's some 6th or 7th grade girls will put Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion to shame. They're in grade school. And the parents is saying, yeah, we're going to get some money off of this because they hot. I'm talking about twerking. Look, I only looked at 2 seconds so I wouldn't be caught up with child porn. I clicked off on it. No.
You know did right, boy.
I want to see it. No, don't send it to nobody else.
Don't
be trying to send it to my wife.
Go ahead, sis. Hold it down, y'all. Hold on. AZ had first, then I'll come to you, sis. Go ahead, AZ.
I was just saying about this part where he's going to blot out the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
To confound the believers who believe that the sun is God and that the moon is God. So to confound those believers, he's going to break them off.
Break them off right quick because the Muslims worship the moon god and all Egyptology worship the sun. When he knock out your gods, you're going to be through. Because you're going to be groping in darkness. God, where my God? And then he going to come with that light that he had in Genesis 1:1 to separate light from darkness.
The true light.
The true light. And then you go into the kingdom sin free. Whoever make that first resurrection, the second resurrection have no power over you. Because the devil going to be locked up for 1,000 years. Now, do you know people saying we are already in the 1,000-year millennium? If the devil is locked up, Please don't let me be around when he let out of jail. If he locked up and we got where we going now, boy, we in trouble, ain't we?
We fool.
Yeah, we in the world.
Now we know iniquity doth already work.
Yes, yes.
But if he locked up and iniquity is working like this, y'all, we don't stand a chance. Well, maybe that's why I say, if it were possible, he would do what?
Deceive the elect.
Let's get some more, y'all. Who got something? Says you was cool? You
I
good?
just wanted to say about this younger generation of girls, how the young girls, because I have granddaughters, that they spend hours getting all this fake hair, wearing leggings and stuff, where men, even teachers, people on the street can see everything they got without going to a porn site, and the parents acknowledge it.
Well, look here, y'all. Look, that happened before the flood. Y'all, all this is a repeat performance. See, this is why we have to watch as well as pray. So we have to know when the days of Noah come. Y'all, next on deck is bestiality legalized.
Right, it's coming.
You'll be able to marry your dog, your horse.
In
Ohio.
In Europe, it's already it's been legalized for the past 10 years.
And next is marriage of robots, AIs. Y'all, they so real, they'll have an AI walk up in here and we'll never know it. Brother, you need a scripture. It'll just do that and you give it a scripture. So lifelike, skin is so lifelike. They can't keep them on the shelves in China. If you right now Google sex robots in China, they cannot keep them on the shelves. Lord up, boy, look here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Didn't a 36-year-old man just get caught having sex with a dog?
Yeah, he just got caught with a dog. Look, and then went crazy and ran up in the church and tore all the Christmas decorations down. And he was doing it in the park in front of children.
With the dog?
With the dog. That was last week.
What you say, man?
This was last week. Google it, man caught in raping dog and then tore up the church. Y'all, look. This is why we have to understand, y'all, what days we are coming upon. We got to get ready for the days that are coming.
Yes, yes.
Y'all, Joe Biden, y'all, we finna have civil war, bro. And I'm gonna get to you. Y'all have to understand the civil war in this nation was about Israel. North and South fought over freeing us from one side. It's gonna be the same thing right now. You got the Republicans and the Democrats fighting over Israel. Brittany Griner got let off. She's a dyke. And she got let out versus letting that Marine out. Do you know how these white people are upset?
Oh, yeah.
These people are pissed the hell off. You leave. Our motto is we don't leave nobody behind.
Right.
The actual Marine.
And not only this, but look, they say, and she's an American hater because she took a knee when the national anthem was playing. And her words say, get rid of the national anthem. So this Trump son saying, why you gonna bring this anti-American back and leave that soldier over there?
And
y'all,
dude, they traded for his arms
But Trump could have brought him home for the same dude and denied it.
Yeah, denied it. Look,
denied it.
Yeah, we always the scapegoat, y'all, but we got to get moving, y'all. Go ahead, because we got 3 more topics. Yeah, go ahead.
Danny, can we please, everybody, shoot a prayer out for one of our brothers?
Who?
I don't know. It's
don't know his name.
It's kind of personal, but please let me share it because he needs prayer.
Well, we got to know who he is, know who we're praying for.
We got to know who we're praying for.
Because that dude, man, that's like on the Day of Atonement, everybody's saying, look, if I offended you, I'm sorry. You can't do that. If you don't know who you done offended, that's a problem on the Day of Atonement. Go ahead, bro.
But listen, Bro James.
Bro James,
he got a problem.
James.
He got a problem.
Okay.
His daughter was on the internet, man, and whoever she was talking to, I don't know if they shot demons through to her or what. You know, she was tearing up the house and, you know, trying to fight them, and, you know, for some reason he talking to child services all of a sudden, and she talking about she want to kill herself. You know, she shouldn't be here, all kind of stuff.
I just got the same text from one of our current members who's online right now and had one of these questions. The same situation going. She trying to get herself prepared to deal with those demons and possession. Serious fasting and prayer got to be taking place. But you can't be BS and you can't go up in there like them vagabond Jews and talking about get out of here like what Paul say get out of here. Because they'll let you know we know Paul and we know the Messiah, but who are you? Y'all, demons are real. Our idol is nothing. What I'm talking about is possession. To take control of your soul. You can name it all of these other names called anxiety, depression, but it's demonic.
What about the commandments say we supposed to kill off all the pagans? He said he gonna give us this land. We supposed to kill off all the pagan stuff.
In this land?
Not in this land.
In this land?
Let them just take over.
This they land. This they kingdom.
That was
at home.
That was when we was
This
in
they
home.
home. This Esau's kingdom, his kingdom gonna run to here. See, this is what we keep telling you, bro. You can't leapfrog prophecy. Would you want Esau to cut your kingdom short? Well, it's been 850 years. I know they said 1,000, but enough is enough. 850 ought to be enough. We still got 150 years to go, don't we? Well, this kingdom must run according to Romans 11 chapter to the fullness of the Gentiles come in. You can't take this nation. If you take it and say you got to bind the strong man. Who do you know can get them nuclear codes? That's what we need to know, bro. You know anybody strong enough in this ghetto? Rufus round at the liquor store. Anybody you know can get them nuclear codes.
They say even if your mama go to the store following them pagan stuff, be the first to put your hand against her.
It ain't say put your hand on her. It say you have to hate her. And that means love less. That don't mean player hate. You ain't read that. Well, see, what priesthood you under? I'm asking you, what priesthood is the Exodus?
I'm reading.
Listen to what I'm saying, bro. Listen to what I'm saying.
The party rolling lightning with his finger.
Listen to what I'm saying, bro. There's a priesthood. Aaron or Melchizedek. Aaron, we put you to death right now. Under Melchizedek, you get a little grace. You get some mercy. But you can't do it again. I'm talking about Aaron. And I want to tell you how Melchizedek trumps Aaron. Aaron is like the state laws. Melchizedek is like Fed laws. They trump state laws. It's like when the Messiah met the woman that all the men, the priest brought to him and say, we caught her in the very act of adultery. And they looked to see who was going to pick up a stone. The Messiah say, him without sin cast the first stone. It don't mean nobody didn't have sin because he's the only one without sin. What that meant is he's going back to the law. The law say if you catch them, both the man and the woman should be put to death. Where's the man? If you caught her in the act, you caught the man. The man had a rock in his hand, ready to silence her. Shalom, y'all. Y'all understand what we saying? So what I'm saying, bro, your priesthood matters. You can't pass a judgment.
Even Christ say keep the law. If law say to kill him.
I'm asking you, where you ever see Christ say, is always say vengeance is who? In what chapters? Listen to what I'm saying, bro. Vengeance belongs to who?
The Most High.
So the Messiah, the Father gives the orders to put somebody down. A man just can't do it.
They do that. That was his order on lightning. On
What?
stone. He wrote that. Then Christ come back.
You ain't read that on what stone, bro. Look. You have to understand, bro. Down in here, if you're gonna be combative, we need two witnesses. We need two because it has to be order. But I'm asking you, there's a high priest that got the order to put him down. What's that high priest name where you reading from?
I'm just reading along.
So you can't do that, bro. That's your interpretation.
See, you're leaving the priesthood out of it.
Real quick, y'all. So we can get some quick understanding. Real quick, y'all. So, bro, so we can get some understanding. We got to move on. We behind. Deuteronomy 18:9. Give me that real quick. Give me Joshua 10:5, and then give me Hebrews 7:12. So you can get some understanding, bro, what we count when we keep talking about priesthood. Look, Obama didn't do what Bush did in his administration, same laws, but he gave leniency. So you have to understand, the laws stay the same. It's the priests who run it and orchestrate, put him to death. Just like the Governor Parson just put that boy to death here in St. Louis to kill the police. Everybody saying, don't put him to death. He said, he gonna die tonight. He's going to die tonight for what he did because he showed no mercy. He shot the police, and when he crashed into the tree, he went up and dumped 3 more in his head. He has to die. We don't care about his daughter want to see him. He's going to die tonight. He'll be full of embalming fluid by tomorrow morning.
Wow.
Is he full of embalming fluid right now? Oh, in the ground.
He's leaked out now.
Still full of what? Yeah, okay, go ahead. Let's get that real quick, y'all. Deuteronomy 18:9. What it say?
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 9.
What it say?
When thou art come into the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch,
or what?
Or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer.
So that's playing with the dead, sleeping with the dead. So it lists all wickedness. You better not be caught doing none of this wickedness. Keep reading.
For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High.
That's a felony if you're into that. It's called felony. These are not misdemeanors. You can't get rid of these with a turtle dove. This the death penalty. Go ahead. What else to say?
And because of these abominations, the Most High thy power does drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Most High thy power.
So perfect don't mean you don't make mistakes. Perfect means you know what to do if you make one. See, when you keep the commandments, that don't mean you're going to ever break them. It say, if a man do this and sin, then he must do that. You kept the law. You got yourself back in good graces. If you say can't nobody keep the law, that's not in the Bible, because it constantly from Genesis to Revelation say, keep my what? Commandments. If you can't do them, they wouldn't be in there.
That's right.
The laws are not grievous. We just don't know what they are. We guess at what they are. Maybe my mama didn't really mean I have to wait in the house till she get off of work.
You'll know when that belt comes.
Let's get some more. Right.
For these, verse 14.
Yeah.
For these nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto observers of time.
See, these nations, like here, they do like the land of Canaan. They did astrology. That's observer of times. That's astrology. Numerology, that's counting numbers and say, ain't 6 day the best day for such and such? Ain't 6 day the number of man in the Bible? No, that ain't in there nowhere. That's, you put that in there. Then is the 4th day the number for the sun and the moon and the stars. You can't have it one way and then exclude the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? It's all or nothing. Go ahead. What else it says there?
And unto diviners. But as for thee, the Most High thy power hath not suffered thee to do. So
he tells us how to communicate with you. Dreams, visions, Urim and Thummim, or Messiah. Since we don't have Urim and Thummim no more because the high priest is gone, we don't have a priest. Aaron them used to divine through Urim and Thummim. We don't have them no more. So we got visions and dreams because Amos prophesied. Your children, Joel 3, I'm sorry, your children should dream dreams. Your old man should have vision. Acts 2 back that up. And it say, and your go-to priest is the Messiah after the order of Melchizedek. That's the order. So if you found in numerology, if you found in astrology, you get this punishment. Let's read some more. What else it say?
Verse 15.
This is what we coming to, y'all.
The Lord thy power will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee. Of thy brethren.
Of thy who?
Of thy brethren.
See, he got to be out of the 12 tribes of Israel. Not like Farrakhan talking about some tribe of Shabazz. Ain't no tribe of Shabazz in the Israelite nation. Nor is there a tribe of Igbo or any other tribe. And y'all, what I'm talking about, we got Africans who know they Israel, but they call themselves Igbo. We can't do it. Look, because that means we could easily say we African American tribe, can we? It don't fit. We explain who we are. We're Yehuda based on Genesis 49. Our neck, he got his neck on us. We got the yoke of iron on that. And America was the hardest slavery out of all of them.
Right.
So Judah's in the four corners, but the bulk of Judah is here. Because when you read the testament of the 12 patriarchs, Judah was the athlete. Judah was the competition man, so he was our power base. That's why when you get down to the fourth son, called Levi and Simeon was cast out for what they did to Shechem, he said, Judah, you're a lion's whelp, but you get the scepter until Christ come. You hold the power until Christ come. And it's just coincidence that the so-called American black is in charge of all the sports activity around here, because you're not going to see it with no other nations. If it was about skin color, if it was about melanin, then them Africans should have it on lock. Because some of them is blacker than these shirts up here. So if it's about melanin, they should be running 107 seconds. They should be pulling what Bo Jackson pulled. They should be backpedaling like Deion Sanders. They should be on somebody's brain like Ben Carson. Open up your brain with your eyes open and he operating on you.
What you see, Doc?
What you see. See, so what we're talking about, and what we're talking about is the Whitney Houston, and I'm just saying this from a perspective of the gift of voice. When you're talking about speed and power and the gift of God that all the nations have to look to, even though we're in captivity, that shoulder roll of Floyd Mayweather, you think you can write that in a book? When he throws that left jab, you roll the shoulder to the right. You dip the head at the same time with lightning fast reflexes. Now, if I ain't got none of that, what the shoulder roll gonna do for me? But have me like this, knocked out, and look, the janitor be counting 200, 201, and I still be like this. Hey, yo.
Best rest of your
Go ahead. So we're talking about who Israel will be to all the nations so we can be a light to them. They love them songs of ours. They know ain't nobody. We're the only people that say they sing with soul. Nobody else. Every other nation get one champion. Tina Marie, alas, with us. Because of her voice, we always say she sounded just like a what? If you didn't know, if you didn't see her face, you'd have thought she was that. Robin Thicke and them other boys who got that what they call white chocolate, white soul. They only get one of their nation. But we have on the basketball court right around the corner on Colt Brilliant that'll trump most of them. I'm talking about youngsters jumping up this much over the rim on the playgrounds. They like, look at that. That's why they go to the black churches. Pull them out of there. Can you sing sin like that? It pays handsomely. If you can move the soul with sin like that, you rappers, what's the new song? Bust her in head to the white meat. So you in the club, that jam is, and that beat is, that is, bust a nigga head to the white meat. You ain't got Johnny Cash. You ain't got Johnny Cash singing that against Waylon Jennings, do you?
No.
You ain't got Shania Twain going at
No, because they don't pay them.
Patsy Cline, do you?
They're not the prize.
Never that.
They're not the prize. Israel is
Israel the prize, y'all, even in its worst state.
Because the other nations are already given over to Hashatan.
Let's get it.
Verse 15 again.
Yeah.
The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken.
That's why Christ was able to trump Aaron with the woman in sin. That's why David, who was to be the shadow of Christ's was able to trump Aaron and ate the showbread and wasn't put down.
That's right.
The showbread was only for the priest to eat, wasn't it?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. But he was to represent the coming Melchizedek priest, and he got it. Gave you the showbread. Okay. Only requirement we got is that you ain't been with a woman in 3 days. You can eat this. Because even if you don't have itchies or scratchies, you still have to wait till evening before you do it again. Because the itchies and scratchies gonna come inside of an hour after being fruitful and multiplying. If it's some itchies and scratching involved.
Right.
You ain't going in 2 or 3 days. You gonna know in an hour. You gonna know when you wake up in the morning. This is what I hear.
You hear a lot.
And you'll be down on Grand, where the clinic used to be.
It ain't on Grand.
Ain't there
It ain't on there no more? Okay, all right. See, that's why I used to hear. That's how long I've been listening. Go ahead. I ain't heard it in a while. Go ahead, y'all. Where we at? You good with that? So we see Moses say, the priest that come trumps me.
Yeah.
He's fed, I'm state. Real quick. Give me Joshua 10:5. Maybe the other way around, 5:10, but let me see.
Acts 3:22.
Back to Deuteronomy.
Yeah, no, I ain't coming back to that. I just wanted to hit this before we move on to the next topic, y'all, because we way behind now, and I got 2 more to go. Joshua, what you got?
Chapter 6 breaks down how Stephen.
5 and 10, y'all. 5 and 10. Joshua, I'm sorry, Elisha. Go ahead. What you saying, Elisha?
In Acts chapter 6, you'll see that Stephen, before the council, before he was stoned to death, he was breaking down the order of Melchizedek.
Yeah.
And how it trumped Aaron.
And that's why Paul stoned him to death. Was Saul before his name was changed. And look, when the Messiah come to you and change your name, you're an apostle. That's why it says in the church administration in 1 Corinthians 12:29, it start off first apostles. The disciples, because they were believed and worked miracles and had intervention with the Most High, they are called now the 12 apostles. Paul, who was a law dictator out of the tribe of Benjamin, became the Apostle Paul because he had an intervision with the Most High as well. So apostles are top dogs, y'all, in this walk. Not captains of 50s, not triple high priest the third, not all in charge of heaven and earth, on earth like some of these Negroes call it themselves today. None of that is in the administration of Christ. What they are in the order of Aaron. And they're running his priesthood, and they ain't even running that. Because Aaron wasn't a triple high priest. No. And what these camps do, they have what they call sack day. You out there selling all, you've been gone all day, they come around, you have to empty everything in your pockets. Sack day, the priests need that money. How you gonna go home, been out there all day, and going home with no money? See, this is what we're talking about when you don't know this priesthood, bro. This is why this priesthood is so important, that you know who your high priest is. See, you could be talking death under somebody else and we get back to killing. See, now you're in violation of the killing you're talking about.
I heard
because you don't even know who your priest is.
Some of them captains of 50s and 100s done committed adultery. Ain't nobody put them to death.
Ain't nobody put them to death, had it.
Right.
They running that iron, but they ain't running that iron.
No, they ain't running that iron. They doing what the Pharisees doing. They sitting in Moses' seat. Right. Playing Moses. Let's get this, y'all, so we got to move on. We got 2 more, y'all. We're going to speed this up. What we got, y'all?
Joshua chapter 5, verse 10.
Yes, go and start at 9. Yeah, go ahead.
9.
Yeah.
And the Most High said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore, the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover.
What they do?
Kept the Passover.
See, we're going to read that again when we get to the third question. Can we keep feast days outside of Passover? What is this land called?
Gilgal.
Gilgal is the second Passover. The first one was done where? Outside the land, wasn't it? Then we do the first Passover in Egypt. So we already outside the land. Then we do 38 more in Gilgal. And then we do, when David take the kingdom, then we do the Passover in when Jerusalem takes the land of Canaan and the kingdom is set up. Then we do the Passovers at home, y'all. But other than, we'll get into that one. Keep going, bro.
And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho.
What was it in the plains of what?
In the plains of Jericho.
Is that Jerusalem?
Nope.
Go ahead. Where we at?
And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover.
And see, you got Hebrews out here not talking. You ain't supposed to be eating no corn. Where you reading that at? What did that just say we was eating?
They was eating some old corn.
They was eating some corn, wasn't it?
Old corn.
It don't matter if it was new corn.
It was corn.
It's corn.
But they had to eat the old corn first.
Yeah, let's read some more.
Yeah. Unleavened cakes and perched corn in the self-same day.
In the self-same day.
In the self-same day.
Yeah.
And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna anymore, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. With his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him.
See, Joshua wasn't never scared. 20 years old, boy. Joshua didn't care about it. He went up to him. Go ahead. What Joshua say?
And said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversary? And he said, nay, but as captain of the host of the Most High.
Captain of the host of who?
Of the Most High. Am I now come? And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship.
And did worship. Y'all see the other one, because bowing to somebody don't mean worship. It's when that second part is in there that you worship. That means you're acknowledging them as a superpower. As sent directly from the Lord. But angels didn't even tell you that. They would tell you get up like the angel in Revelation. But so this angel that he was bowing to, let's read what else it say.
and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant?
Right.
And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for this place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so.
So Joshua, you keep reading, he'll tell you, if you don't listen to him, you're going to have problems. So Moses took his shoes off, didn't he?
Yep.
Same captain of the host, the Messiah. The Messiah has been in the Bible since Genesis 1:1. And he'll be there to Revelation 22 and 16. Shalom, Ma. So we understand who Joshua was talking about, and Joshua bowed. Now Joshua took over for Moses. Who is he bowing to? We ain't got no kings yet. What angel?
The captain of the host, Christ.
Captain of the host. That's right.
Let's get that last one, Hebrews 7 and 12, so we get some good understanding about this priesthood. And bro, what we really do for homework for you, young art, get into Hebrews chapter 2 and read up all the way to chapter 10. And it's going to explain the order of Melchizedek to the letter from a guy who was rocking Aaron. To the letter. 2 through 10.
Yeah, all of it.
All of it. It's like the Messiah say, go to the book of Daniel so you understand it. How many chapters in Daniel? 12. So he said, he told you, go read all 12 chapters. Meet in chapter 2.
Hebrews the only book in the Bible saying don't keep the sacrifice.
You ain't saw that.
It's the only book.
Chapter 9 is what you want, and you'll get clear understanding on chapter 9. We don't sacrifice bulls and goats under Aaron no more. Right. Christ is the ultimate sacrifice now. That's what it's telling you, bro. You got to know your switch. That's Hebrews 9th chapter. You're reading a footnote. You're reading a footnote.
But they don't know who author this book is. And they say, well, brother was highly elite.
Well, that's what that's saying, bro. Look,
but
bro.
After they done slipped in the church.
Who you reading that from? Who's saying those statements? I'm asking you, who's that author? Is he a prophet of the Most High? Who you talking about?
I'm talking about the book of Hebrews.
Who wrote the book of Hebrews?
Notes about whoever wrote it.
You don't know who wrote the book of Hebrews?
It ain't no. They don't know who wrote it.
Timothy wrote it.
According to who?
According to the word.
Where is that?
They Paul letters. This is what I'm talking about. Paul talks and they write. Like Luke was a physician, a Gentile. Luke was not an Israelite. That's why Luke ain't in the 12 disciples list, because they can only be Israelites. Luke was a physician that went around with the disciples, so he was a physician. He knew how to operate, but when he saw the gift of God, he would write about this is a whole nother level of what I've been trained. He just wrote what the disciples did, but he was not a disciple.
He was a witness.
He was a disciple, I'm saying, of the other nations, but he was not of the 12 tribes. That's why you don't see him on the gates. That's why you don't see him numbered in 1 Corinthians 12. He's not of the tribes of Israel, but he's a servant of the Most High that believes that Israel is the chosen.
Just like Paul.
So, bro, this is what we got to understand. We're going to read it to you so you get some understanding. If you read straight through, bro, you ain't going to get no understanding. Go ahead, hit that real quick. Hebrews, where we at? Hebrews 7 and 12.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 12.
Yeah. See, and then when you get 1 through 7 of that same Hebrews chapter 7, you'll see where he tell the priesthood was under Levi, where they were commanded to take tithes. Right. We had to take care of Levi because he didn't work. That's right. But when Messiah came, Levi had to get a job.
Because Levi corrupted the priesthood.
Yes, he did. And the only reason
there had to be a priest, a high priest that came down with no blemish, no spot, no wrinkle.
Yeah.
He would not corrupt the priesthood at all by any means. He would not take a gift. He would not have guile. He would not have any of these things, any of these attributes that mankind has.
Because both Moses and Aaron died in the wilderness for trying to trump and become Christ. He said, what y'all did at the waters of Meribah when you sanctified yourself in front of the children of Israel like you part of the Godhead, not yet, player. For that, you can't go into the promised land. I'm going to let you look at it. But the words out of your mouth just cost you the kingdom here on earth. Go up there and die. Who want them commandments? And I'm feeling healthy right now, and he tell me go die.
He says
Right now.
not a baby.
Right now, not tomorrow, right now. And he told Aaron the same thing in Numbers 25:20. He told him, pull them clothes off of Aaron and put them on his son for what you did at the waters of Meribah. The waters of Meribah was in the wilderness, which they were still in, but at this time, we had kind of got control of ourselves. But the Most High don't forget nothing. When I say what I say, I mean what I said. And I said, ain't none of y'all gonna trump Christ. Christ here in the beginning. You're writing about Christ. You can't trump Christ. Let's get some more.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 12.
Y'all read 1 through 12. So you'll see about Levi, because it said Abraham paid tithes in Levi before Levi was thought about. Abraham is Levi's great-great-grandfather. And he paid tithes in Levi. So what we talking about Levi for? We're talking about Abraham. This is what Paul trying to explain. The order of Melchizedek. Your heart has to be like Abraham's, who didn't get circumcised till he was 99. And he circumcised himself.
With a rock.
Oh, boy, look here. What you got, Emo?
I'm just saying, that's what I heard.
Yeah. Let's get it, y'all. 7 and 12.
Can we start at 11?
We can start at 11, sis. Oh, this perfect, yeah. I hate to go back to 1, but we
I'm
can't.
going back to
5, yeah? You want to go to 5?
He said
We'll start at
5.
5.
Go ahead.
We going to 5.
I
Yeah.
got 1 through 4.
Well, look, y'all, we got 2 more.
We'll get to them later.
1 through
We'll get this now.
Start 1.
1 through.
Go ahead, y'all. We get
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 1.
what it say.
For this Melchizedek, king of Salem,
Right,
which is Jerusalem,
right.
priest of the Most High Yah.
Can you explain that, young bro, what that means? The priest of the Most High, this Melchizedek. What does that mean to you?
The high priest
What high priest?
of the Most High,
Who is he?
Melchizedek.
Who is Melchizedek?
The high priest of the Most High,
What's his name?
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek is the order.
That's the order he's on.
It's the order of him. It's
Of him.
The order of Christ is Christ. That's his name.
Whose
Like
name?
The order of Moses is Moses.
No, ain't no such thing as the order of Moses.
So what is the?
Let's keep reading. We'll get some
We're gonna
understanding.
read
Go
on,
ahead.
brother. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem,
Yeah.
prince of the Most High, priest of the Most High, Yah, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him. Genesis
Right.
chapter 14.
What'd he do?
He blessed him after the slaughter of the kings.
That's in Genesis 14th chapter. Abraham, Melchizedek came to Abraham, if you want to see that. Go ahead.
To whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being interpretation, king of righteousness. And after that, also king of Salem, which is king of peace.
Right.
Without father, without mother, without descent,
Right.
having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of Yahweh, abideth the priest continually.
Made like the son of Yahweh.
Right.
Go ahead. What else to say?
Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the 10th of the spoils. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people, according to the law, that is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham, Numbers 18.
Right.
But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham and blessed him that had the promise.
Right.
Genesis 14. And without all contradiction, the blessed is blessed of the better.
Right.
And here men that die receive tithes, but there he receiveth them, of whom it is witness that he liveth. And as I may so say, Levi also, who receiveth tithes, paid tithes in Abraham.
Y'all see that? So it came first. We didn't pay tithes to Levi first. Tithes were paid to Abraham, but they were called free will offerings. You were not commanded. You gave on your increase. If you got no increase, you kept the laws. You could only give upon increase under the order of Melchizedek.
And it was once a year.
And it was once a year. Go ahead. What else to say?
10. For he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him.
See, Levi was yet in the loins of Abraham because it's his great grandson. He hadn't been spermed yet. Was that clean, sis? Go ahead. What is that? Go ahead.
You said sperm. Did that answer this clean?
Yeah. Spawned, I should say it. It was bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's what I meant, Zay. Go ahead.
You already hit sin.
Well, look, that's why he right here. Go ahead. Go ahead. What we say?
There's therefore a perfection whereby the Levitical priesthood.
If therefore perfection
Uh-huh.
means to allow grace to show upon you, because remember, grace didn't start in the New Testament. Noah found grace.
That's right.
That's what the script says in Genesis 9. Noah found grace.
Right. But if
Grace been
perfection-
around.
And perfection means salvation is already granted.
Look,
If you're perfected.
if you're perfected,
But
you're my
salvation
servant.
couldn't come through the giving of those Mosaic laws.
No. What else to say, Elijah?
What further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek and not be called after the order of Aaron?
There's the question. If the Levitical priesthood is perfect, why do we have to go back to the order of Melchizedek? For what reason? Let's read some more.
For the priesthood being changed.
What was changed?
The priesthood
Being changed. That's first, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
What else to say after that, Elijah?
There is made of a necessity a change also of the law.
See, a necessity, and the only thing we're changing in the law is who becomes the intercessor. That's the change. The law don't change. Right. It's just who you go to change.
And the law that pertains to that priesthood.
Right, because that's no sacrifice of bulls and goats. Aaron is bulls and goats. When you read Hebrews 9, Paul going to break it off perfectly. Go ahead, what else to say,
That's
Elijah?
why it says right there, too, there is made of necessity.
Necessity.
You got to change the law because the priesthood changed.
And when we're saying changing the law, we're not saying it's okay to steal. It's okay. What we're talking about is you truly understand the law of sacrifice, because that's what the priest, that was their only.
But Daniel said whoever changed the law of sacrifice is abomination and desolation.
Where you see that at? Look. Okay, please get that.
Pull it,
Let them get it, brother.
Yeah.
He say it's gonna be a week. And in the middle of that week, it's going to be...
What is that time of week talking about?
Talking about in the end times.
When
the desolation of abomination gets set up, it would be the taking away of the daily sacrifice.
Yeah.
Laws and times will change.
Yeah.
What's
the daily sacrifice?
The daily sacrifice that they have to sacrifice.
No, that ain't talking about then. This the last day. We talking about now. The last days now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no. When is the last days?
In Hebrews, he changed the daily sacrifice, so that's when it changed. And we passed Hebrews, so we already passed the part where they changed and took away the daily sacrifice.
Bro, you don't have a clue what this talking about. Read what you saying.
Okay, so in Hebrews, we just read.
No, read in Daniel what you're talking about.
Daniel 12.
Because you're talking about the Antichrist who ain't even got here yet.
Well, I just know.
The Antichrist ain't got here yet. Is he talking about the Antichrist, though? That's what I'm asking you. What is that talking about? Yeah, go ahead.
Say.
11 and what?
31. It say, it say, and the army will stand on his part, and they will pollute the sanctuary of strength, and will take away the daily sacrifice. And they will place the Lord of heaven.
And they will do what?
They will place the Lord of heaven.
So, go ahead.
Taking away the daily sacrifice, and they putting something in his place.
Keep reading.
Okay, and such as do wickedly against the covenant, he will corrupt by flatteries. But the people who do know their Father will be strong and do firmly to resist. They basically gonna keep the sacrifice.
Well, look, that don't mean they're gonna keep the sacrifice. He gonna bring the sacrifice. Young bro, let me explain it to you. What Daniel was talking about, you got to go through all of Daniel like the Messiah said, because you got chapter 2 and 43 going to explain some things to you too. But what it's saying is, when this happened, when the Antichrist come, he's going to proclaim himself as God. He's going to take away the daily sacrifice, because he's mirroring the Messiah. This is what I want you to understand. So he's going to reinstitute sacrifice. Okay, so that sacrifice is going to be taken away, because he's finna show his true colors now. And he's going to recommend the mark of the beast. Right. So you have to understand what you read, bro. Time, see, this is what I'm talking about. Your timeline. You're in the last days. We ain't even got to what you're reading yet. In our lifetime, we ain't there yet. Do that make sense to you? No, I'm asking you. Do you understand every time the Bible say the last days, when do you think it's talking about?
I'm just basing off the science. He said, in these times, you will know these times because of daily sacrifice.
What are the times, bro? They call what? The last days, right?
I'm talking about
it's just like
Daniel speaking on.
So what time is that?
Last days, he just calling the time.
But see, this is what he's trying to get you to understand.
You don't
brother.
even know
Just
the
like
times. The
priesthood.
1290
Just like
days
you
is
have
the
to
time.
even know the priesthood. You have to know the times in which you're referring to, brother. Because certain prophecies are already passed. Certain prophecies haven't even come to pass yet. Certain things are happening right now as we speak. You must know the timeline in which you're talking about, brother.
I believe.
Do you know 2 Thessalonians 2 is saying the same thing that's saying? 2 Thessalonians 2. When you read that, I want you to read the whole chapter so you get some understanding, bro. You're just reading what you see. You don't understand a study process. You got to have 2 witnesses that paint the same picture. You can't go get nothing else. You need another witness that says the sacrifice is going to be taken away. Can you find that other witness? If you can't, we can't listen to you. I'm not talking about what Christ said. I'm telling you in this what you're saying the sacrifice will be taken away. Find that for us to say the sacrifice will be taken away.
Right there. Even Daniel spoke of it.
Go ahead. Daniel spoke of what? Was the sacrifice taken away then?
Yeah, no, they took the daily sacrifice, right? 70 years after Christ, they took over the temple and they started killing all the Jews and saying, y'all ain't sacrificing nothing. We killing y'all.
So you're talking about the time of Nero Caesar. I'm talking about the second coming of Christ. Did Christ come back at that time? That wasn't the Antichrist. Nero wasn't the Antichrist. Listen what I'm saying, bro. Nero wasn't the Antichrist. He didn't even go to Jerusalem. Valspian, his top hand man, Valspian, whatever his name, went to Jerusalem. He did that dirt.
Right.
See, bro, you out of your timeline.
Add up to me like that.
What you're doing is that's how you study, but the Bible don't study according to how you think. It gives you rules. That's why commandments are rules. Everything must be proven by 2 witnesses. I'm talking about there's another witness in this Bible that says the same exact thing Daniel is saying, word for word, but it's another prophet. Do you know who that is? Word for word.
No.
Well, you can't talk about what you're talking about here, bro. You have to get your witnesses down. You can't ask me now. I mean, you could ask me. I'm just messing with you. I'm not. Look, but we have to move on, bro, so we can keep going. So I'm just explaining the rules to you so you know the rules of the Bible. If you playing dominoes, they say 15 to get on board, 10 thereafter. Can you get on board with 5? Can you explain one witness of the Bible by yourself? Those against the rules. See what you're doing? You're guessing. I can do that. Look, when they talk about the chariots of the Bible, do you know that the 41 Lee River Roads bus? Do you know that's that?
The bus?
Yeah, it's the 41 Lee River Roads.
Hey.
See, I can say that, and you guessing, and you thinking, damn, could it be the 41 Lee River Roads?
Hey, bro. Hey, let's do it.
Come on, y'all. We gotta keep going, y'all.
Slow it up, y'all.
It's 4:30, y'all. We close out at 5. Go ahead.
Slow it up, y'all. Let's just do this, bro, so we can move forward. Because the thing is, brother, you're all over the place. You're not understanding priesthood. You're not understanding timeline.
Nor rules and laws.
Rules. Yeah, hold on. Slow it up, my brother. There are rules to this manuscript.
Do you believe that?
Abide by.
Do you believe there's rules to the Bible?
Okay. So right now, brother, what we're trying to explain to you is that you're not understanding the rules because you're not playing by it.
Yeah, but with the part where he pointed out where he said the transfer of the priesthood had to change when he's talking about earn. If you read on, and say in any of these that it changed to, if any of them speak something that I ain't speak, don't reference it.
Let me ask you this. If the devil changed the law of God, is that God changing the laws?
No.
Well, this is what Daniel said. He think to change the laws. If you think to change them, are they changed? If we think that we're free in America, are we? If you in jail on death row, can you think you free and walk out? See, that's what we're talking about. Of course not.
Just
So
like thinking to change the times and
you
laws.
can't think to change
People
it.
think that they orchestrated Sabbath to Sunday.
Right.
And the law from the 4th commandment from the time from sunset to sunset, man changed it from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.
But you know what he never changed? He never changed the Sabbath day. Because on every calendar, what's the 7th day of the week? Saturday. So ain't that the Sabbath? So why is everybody going to church on Sunday? Because they think it's Sunday.
Right.
But what does the Bible say the Sabbath day is? So you understand now, bro? That's all we saying. Now hold your peace, bro, because we got to get going. We got to get going. You got to follow the rules, bro.
We can deal with it further after class, bro.
We'll get with you one-on-one.
Let us
One-on-one, bro.
About the priesthood.
Go ahead. Let's get this priesthood back, y'all. We ain't got time, y'all. We understand you got that zeal, but without knowledge, bro. You got the zeal, but you don't have the knowledge of the game. You're playing spades. You're playing spades like blackjack.
I ain't playing. I don't want nothing to do with that.
You go on the boat and try to play blackjack like you play spades at the ghetto hood in a GG or ghetto gathering, and you try to play spades on the boat. What's gonna happen, Moses, at the blackjack table? Security. No, not how we play. The big joker calls a shot. They say ain't no big joker in the deck on the boat.
Only big joke in here
is you the big joker. Security, get the big joker out of here. That's what we're talking about, bro. It's not saying you don't know what you're talking about. What we're trying to do is your fire is boiling out. All your substance is boiling out. You know how you got the fire too hot on the skin? We're just trying to turn your fire back down till it's simmer. And the only thing gonna turn it back down is you know the law, statutes, and judgment. And you can explain to us, so you hide a multitude of your sin. And sin is transgression of the law. You must know the law. You have to know it, and you are not understanding it because you're reading straight through like you're reading a novel. This is a lifelong course. It's a 70-year course. Life is 70. That's 70 years. This how long this Bible takes you at a minimum to understand it. How old are you?
Isaiah.
40.
You 40, you got 30 more years of this to go. Minimum. And it's an open book test. All the answers in the back of the book.
But check out that Isaiah 30. It says, here a little, there a little.
Yeah.
Precept must be upon precept line.
What you got back there, Thomas? Because y'all, we got to go. We got two more topics we got to get on. Go ahead, bro. What you got back there, Thomas? Coach.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. One verse, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let all things be done decently and in order.
That's right. It must be order, bro. No laws, no order. If you break the law, what do you call? An outlaw, ain't you?
Lawbreaker.
And when there's no law, what is the city called? Lawless what? Ness. Ain't no rules. Sodom and Gomorrah was lawlessness. America is becoming lawlessness. And when you're reading about Daniel, what you miss is when he said the lawlessness one gonna come. The one that don't pay attention to the laws of the Bible. That's why I say write down 2 Thessalonians 2. Read that whole chapter. You're going to understand what we talk about. But let's get this, y'all. We got to get caught up, bro. Just listen a little bit. It's not personal. You know that, right, Op? We got to seek another's wealth. We're 1 Corinthians 10. We got to make sure you rich in the spirit. Not rich in field. Because they're not 10 suggestions. I don't suggest you honor your mother and father. You must honor your mother and father. The Most High don't suggest you keep his commandments. You must keep his commandments. Let's read some more. Where we at, Lice?
2 Thessalonians what?
No, we ain't going to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. That's for homework for him.
We still in Hebrews, right?
Yeah, Hebrews. Let's get on down to verse 16.
Yeah.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 12 we was at. Read that again.
For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
So one or two things that happen. People say Paul is lying. There was no change of the priesthood. Then we can understand what you're saying. If you can prove that that's the truth, that we're still under Aaron. This is the question on the table. Are we still under Aaron? Because that means then all of our sins that we are doing, if we have not been to a high priest to sacrifice a goat or a bullock, those sins are still on us.
Right.
Because we need a high priest. You know any high priest?
Right? I mean, you got Yahshua as far as I know.
You know any other?
That's it.
That's what I said.
Good. You're on the right track then, bro. Let's get it.
Go
ahead. What else to say? Go ahead.
That's definitely.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertaining to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Because he came from where, but it's going to explain itself. Go ahead.
For it is evident that our Messiah sprang out of Judah.
What tribe he sprang out of?
Judah.
What tribe of the priests out of? Aaron.
Levi.
Levi. Go ahead. Keep going.
Of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood. And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arises another priest.
Right.
Who is made not after the law of a carnal command.
Not after the law of a carnal command. See, these camps, these Hebrew camps gonna take you to Hebrews 2:15, and where it says he have to be made out of flesh, man and woman. So that opens the door for them saying Joseph is his natural father. But when you tell them, explain Hebrews 7:16 for me, it's scratching of the head. It's the look of curly stooges. Let's get some more. Where we at? The look of Jethro Bodine, Lysa. Go ahead.
Who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life.
After the power of what?
An endless life.
This why Joseph couldn't be his daddy.
Right.
This why 2:15 of Hebrews don't fit Christ. Because Hebrews 2:15, he would have had to have been born like we were born.
Yeah.
How the nation got started. Let's get some more. In Mount Sinai, I should say. Go ahead.
For he testified, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
Now this is David in Psalm 110, quoted that in Psalm 110. Write that down too, young bro. Psalm 110. David said, the Lord said to my Lord, sit thou on my right hand. Now if David is the king, well, even if David was the king, who could be Lord between him and the Most High? David's the king of Israel.
Right.
The Lord said to my Lord, Saul is dead. So who could David be talking about?
Right.
Coming Solomon? Like some will say, well, he would talk about his son Solomon coming. Since when do the father get a power to the son like that and
Why
he ain't sitting on the throne
why
yet?
he
He ain't
still
dead
alive?
now. Why he still alive?
The scripture say, give thy power not to another.
Look, not only that, but we know what Solomon did. Solomon, what he did got us thrown out of Jerusalem. Solomon was punished so bad in chapter 11 of 1 Kings 8. 1 Kings 11, I should
1
say.
Kings 11.
Yeah, you'll see what the Most High did to Solomon because he turned back to Deuteronomy 18, so we know it ain't him. He turned back to all his wives were worshiping the devil. All of them. Molech, he even built a high place for a couple of his women in Jerusalem. That was Solomon.
And even wrote Bible.
And then he went to the dark side and created that so-called Star of David and wrote the book of Grimoire. Solomon did that. And witchcraft bound. Solomon brought that. David never wore a star. David said in Psalm, the Lord is my shield. He's my protector. And when you ask these brothers that believe in that Star of David, where is it written in the Bible that should be our shield? Well, see, it's in the shape of a snowflake. Look, a frog leg is in the shape of a chicken wing.
The Christ said no sign should be given Israel except the sign of Jonah.
That's right.
And the whale.
Read a little bit more, Elisha. Going down to verse 24.
Verse 18. For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before for the weakness and the unprofitableness thereof. For the law made nothing perfect.
What did the law do?
Made nothing perfect. But the bringing in of a better hope did, by the which we draw nigh unto Yahweh.
So now you understand Paul when he's talking in Galatians 24 when he says there was no law of righteousness that we could keep that would cause us to go into perfection. If it was, y'all, we would need the Messiah. But there was no law, and then we start manipulating laws.
That's right.
If you know you're going to do a misdemeanor sin and it wasn't going to get your head busted open, you put 2 turtle doves in your trunk. You got turtle doves. You already got the sacrifice. If we had kept on doing that, there wouldn't have been a bird or a lamb or a goat left on planet Earth. Right. It would be like the dodo bird. We would go into a museum. What's that, Daddy? That's a sheep. But our forefathers were so wicked, they burned them all up with sinning. That used to be a sheep. Daddy, that's a woolly pit bull, because that's all our children know now. We don't even take them to the zoo. Let's get some more. Go ahead. Where we at, bro?
Oh, wow. Verse 20.
Yeah.
And inasmuch as not without an oath he was made priest.
Right.
For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath by him that said unto him, the Most High swore and will not repent.
See, that's in Psalm 110. He swore. The Lord cannot lie. When he says in an oath, it's a sworn testimony. That's why in the Bible, the Messiah tell you, don't swear, affirm. But this court system know what you're going to do because they don't know, you don't know the law of your own God. They tell you, put your hand on this and swear you'll tell the truth. You must say, I affirm. Because if you say, I swear, then they can bring perjury charges on you. But if you say, I affirm, they say, we take that. That means I only understand it from my perspective. I may be leaving some out. But if you swear to the truth of this, they're going to ask you the truth. Is your grandmama a dope dealer?
Well,
I'm sorry, Big Mama. Yeah, she pushed kilos all day. I'm sorry, Big Mama, but I swore. Go ahead, where we at, bro? Go ahead.
That was still in
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Oh, no. Verse 21.
Yeah.
For those priests were made without an oath, but this with an oath by him that said unto him, the Most High swearing will not repent.
Right.
Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
After the order of who?
Melchizedek.
See, Christ is after an order. So the person that gives the order is Melchizedek. And it explained he's without father and he's without mother. You have to be under that order. What's that? And that order went down. Enoch was a Melchizedek priest. Noah's son, Ner. When you get in the second chapter of Enoch, Noah's brother, I should say, Ner. His wife was 80 plus years old and gave birth to a son, a virgin birth. When her husband, Methuselah, came back, he said, what you doing pregnant, heifer?
Yeah.
She said, I don't know. That baby was born, and it said he had the badge of Melchizedek on his chest. This is 2nd Enoch 71 chapter through 72. And then the first thing Noah and them did was ran and got the robes of the priesthood and put them on that baby. But they said this baby is representing the true one that will come in his place, born of a virgin. It's not this one. It's going to be one just like this order in the new world. Because that was before the flood. Let's get some more, y'all.
Verse 22.
Yeah.
By so much was Yahushua made a surety of a better testament.
See, a surety, and when we get into what's that surety in Sirach?
I can't remember off the top of the head.
When you talk about surety, y'all, surety means I'm a co-signer. Like you be a surety for somebody if you sign for a car phone. Now you know they only making $12 an hour. Why do you sign for them in that Range Rover? Look, come on, you can't have a landlord and a Land Rover at the same time. It don't add up.
A landlord and a landlord.
No, it don't add up. Boy, some gonna get cut loose. So a surety, like we talked about Christ. John, he said, behold thy mother. Mother, behold thy son. He put surety on them. When you get in the book of Sirach, it lists a whole chapter on what a surety. Be not a surety over your cause. Because they will come and take your bed from you.
Surety is chapter.
If they don't pay and you the co-signer, they say, well, we need what we can't get it from him. We got to get it from you. We're going to go on as you. Why did you sign that for him and he work at Family Dollar? Part-time. I just wanted the boy to floss a little bit. Now we coming to get your floss. Go ahead.
Ain't nobody flossing.
Floss it right. Go ahead. What it say, like down to 24?
23.
Yeah.
And they truly were many priests. Because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man.
But this who?
This man. Because he continueth forever.
How long he lasts?
Ever.
He don't die.
Right.
Christ don't die. His flesh would not corrupt. That's why he made for the endless life. Hebrews 7:16 versus Hebrews 2:15. His flesh cannot corrupt. 72 hours you lock. People come back from death. You know, you can put the thumpers on them. They say he was dead for 12 minutes. Show us anywhere anybody dead past 72 hours brought back to life.
Right.
With any machine. Lazarus was 4 days, but he was dead. But he came out in 4 days, so you don't get him mixed up with the Messiah, who was supposed to come out in 3 days.
Right. And to show you how much power the Most High got, if he hadn't said Lazarus come forward, everybody would have got about the grave.
Boy, look here. If he had the name Lazarus, if he had said come forth, all the graves would have bust open. And then when he did do, many other graves did bust open to testify for him, because it say he went to hell. And hell means the grave.
Right.
Hell is not the lake of fire.
Right.
Hell and death were cast into where?
The lake of fire.
So hell is not great. So he went down, talked to Adam, talked to Dave and them. He like, yeah, y'all, I done did it. They like, you did it? Yeah, I did it. I'll be back to get y'all though. Don't worry about it. I'll be back. Don't worry about it. Y'all good.
Yeah, because all the graves opened up.
Yeah, of the saints that walked around. But according to Hebrews 9:27, it's appointed for a man to die once under this sun.
Right.
There's no literature you can find Lazarus dying again under this current sun that we are. There's no doctrine. He ascended. Because he came back as an angel. There's no, when we resurrected, we are like the angels. We become immortal. We go back to what Adam was before he sinned. You're going to look just like you do, but free of that damage called sin and transgression that weakens this flesh.
And Lazarus sat down and ate. Had a meal.
Sure did, didn't he?
And I wanted to
And the
say,
same
he
thing
sat
he
down
did
and
too.
ate
They said,
the
can a
meal.
spirit eat? He said, touch my side, touch my hand. Who got some honeycomb? Who got some fish up in here? Give me a piece of that. Give me a piece of that. That was after the resurrection. So y'all, it ain't like we're going to be cast but a ghost. We're going to be just like ourselves, but we're going to be like Adam and Eve before they sinned.
Pure.
Same body,
To the heavens.
looking the same. Look, we got a Lazarus back there. But he gonna look just like that Lazarus, most high will, if he don't get old or something happen. But he's gonna look like a newborn baby across the skin. You know how you just bite on a baby like this? You can bite their jaw. You bite on Lazarus' jaw right now, it's gonna be, man, it's salty. What is that grease and formula in your beard? Let's get some more, y'all. Yeah. Go ahead, Elijah, finish that off.
Verse 24.
What 24 say, Elisha?
But this man, because he continueth ever.
How long he lasts?
Ever. Hath an unchangeable priesthood.
He has an unchangeable priesthood. It can't change back. Now give me some of this Jasher. This is mentioned to study out of this book in Joshua 10:13, 2 Samuel 1:18, and 2 Timothy 3:8. It tells us to study out of the book of Jasher. And the only way we can make it authentic is that it cannot break the law. So we're going to read from Jasher, the 16th chapter. Just read verse 11 and 12. Because it's relating to Genesis 14 when Abraham met it. It's the same language. It's just written with a Greek language. It calls a Zonadek, which is a different language for Melchizedek. But the language is exactly the same. It's just the names that change, like Revelation 9:9, where it says the beast in the bottomless pit. In the Hebrew tongue, he called what? In the Greek tongue, he's called what? But it's the same beast, ain't it? He just go by a different name.
That's right.
But it's the same beast, ain't it? Man, who you talking about? Abaddon? Who? The bottomless pit. Oh, Apollyon you speak of. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. That same no good rotten dog that's coming out of the bottom pit. I don't care what you call him. He's in the bottom pit. If he come out of there, if you call him Bobo, and he come out of that bottomless pit, he's who Revelation 9:9 is talking about. Let's get some more. Because, y'all, let me just say, the language don't trump law. Because Psalm 119, the longest chapter in the Bible, is the Hebrew alphabet. Each letter is start with Aleph, and it ends with the last one, Taw. Each letter has 8 verses, and they start off each 8 verses. The law is supreme. So the law trumps word etymology. Whatever the word transferred to, it cannot alter the course of the law. Language don't trump law. Stealing in Japanese is the same act, ain't it? If you're somewhere stealing and they start hitting you with a stick, buki ball, buki ball, buki ball. You what? And they hit you because you drop it, and then they stop.
You don't know what they want.
And then you know, well, buki ball means stealing. That means taking something that don't belong to me. Now in America, they may just holler, put that back. But I don't care what language you holler, stop thief. In whatever language you're in, what is taking place? Somebody running with something, ain't it? Stop thief! Come there, tell me trauma! I don't care what language it is. Language don't trump law. Psalm 119, the Bible is complete. We got the entire Hebrew language in the Bible. Psalm 119, every letter is 8 verses. And then they switch to the next letter. That's why when they ask Christ, you know your letters at 12. How you know your letters? They never said Christ knew words. They say, you understand your letters, because he told them, I'll tell you what Aleph is if you tell me what Beth means. And those Pharisees couldn't tell. They look at who boy is this? And they cuss Joseph out. Why you bring this boy to school fronting on the teachers? What kind of boy is this? This boy full of the devil. How he know letters and ain't been to school?
They ain't never been to school.
Letters, not words. He's the word. And the word was sent and made flesh. And the word is perfect law. Kept without sin. No sin. Let's get some more, y'all. Where we at? I want that Jasher right there.
11 and 12. Verse 16.
Start at verse 8.
16.
Start at verse 7. And y'all match this up. Y'all match this up with Genesis 14 we just read about Abraham. And you're going to see the same things happening. But it's going to identify who was Melchizedek under the order of Melchizedek, who was the priest that met Abraham. Christ met Abraham before they went to Sodom and Gomorrah. 2 angels left, but Abraham bowed to Christ and told him, go fix him something to eat. So then again, he fixed lamb, didn't he? Butter and mud, and Christ ate. And then Abraham started negotiating with him. If it's 50 righteous, will you destroy? If it's 50, 40, if it's 40, 30, 10. If it's 10, Abraham stopped at that point because Lot is there with his 2 wives. His 1 wife and 4 children and 2 son-in-laws. So that's underneath 10. So he couldn't go no lower because the Messiah would tell him, I'm destroying and killing everybody. Abraham stopped. And he told him, I'm going to go get your nephew, though. And that's what the angels did. Lot, you got to leave here. We under order. But Christ stayed there with Abraham and discussed with him and ate bread with him. Mm-hmm. Didn't he?
Yeah. Broke bread with him.
Let's get this. Jasher, real quick, bro.
We're in the book of Jasher, chapter 16. We'll start the reading in verse 7.
What it say?
And Abram heard this, and he rose up with about 318 men that were with him.
Get in Genesis 14:17. It'll say the same thing. Go ahead.
And he that night pursued these kings and smote them.
And
they all fell before Abram and his men.
Right.
And there was none remaining but the 4 kings who fled. And they went each his own road.
Right.
And Abram recovered all the property of Sodom. And he also recovered Lot.
Who he recovered?
He recovered Lot and his property, his wives and little ones, and all belonging to him, so that Lot lacked nothing. And when he returned from smiting these kings, he and his men passed the valley of Siddim, where the kings had made war together. And Bera, king of Sodom, and the rest of his men that were with him, went out from the lime pits into which they had fallen, to meet Abram and his men. And Adonizedek.
Melchizedek, when you read it, just a language change. Greek versus Hebrew, or however the languages are. Just a change in the language. Go ahead.
And Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem.
What was he?
The king of Jerusalem. The same was Shem.
Who was he?
He was Shem.
See, Shem came from the other side of the flood. That was Noah's son. The blessing came through Eber, who Shem descended from, and Abraham descended from Shem. But Shem was given the order of Melchizedek when he got off the boat. Passed Japheth and Ham up, because Ham did what he did, passed Japheth up, and then Shem became the one who the covenant would go through. And then it said, we're going to put the badge of Melchizedek on you. You the high priest now. Go ahead. What else it say?
Went out with his men to meet Abram and his people with bread and wine.
What did he meet them with?
With bread and wine. And they remained together in the valley of Melech. And Adonizedek blessed Abram.
What did he do?
He blessed Abram. And Abram gave him a tenth from all that he had brought from the spoil of his enemies. And Adonizedek was a priest before Yah. And all the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah who were there with their servants approached Abram and begged of him to return them their servants whom he had made captive, and to take unto himself all the property.
Y'all read the rest of that, but we just want to let you know what Melchizedek that was that met Abraham in Genesis 14. It was Shem, Noah's son. Still alive from this side of the earth. Noah was still alive, wasn't he? He was 625 when they got off the ark. So y'all, we have to clearly understand the Bible explains itself. We ain't got to slow y'all up. Okay, y'all okay. Go ahead, where we at? That's it. We're going to hold on that, y'all. We got to speed this up, y'all. So, bro, like I say, we'll get with you. We'll go over this one-on-one with you. We'll lay down the rules for you so you understand, what we're talking about. Everything must be done by 2 witnesses. Even you go to court, you got to have 2 witnesses. Do you know if you was married, they can't make your wife testify against you because they're one witness? You're one witness. You 2 become one, right? So no matter what you do, they can't make her testify against you because y'all one flesh. You know what they do? They throw a photo of you smiling at the club like this with 10 women around. Yeah. How much you say? And then they show her that, and she say that black bastard.
And she start telling.
That black for unlawful carnal knowledge.
Yeah, he did it.
The dope up there, he got the safe up there. That's where all the dope at. I can't believe he said he let her alone. Let's get some more, y'all. Where we at? No, we out of that, y'all. So we gonna get real quick, y'all. We gotta move through this. What's good, Gomo? I'll holler at you.
I see y'all be a little long run. Pass one to somebody.
Oh, take a look. Okay. All right.
So come on, y'all. We gotta speed this up. Who had a question?
You have nothing ready for the next one?
Yeah. No. Yeah. The next one is working in the world, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. Ockley L, he asked.
It's good for you too, sis.
Someone is taking care of a disabled person that don't believe. How do a person go about handling the situation? They want to eat abominations that I have to go by.
Right. See, so what we have to do, look, before you could, so let's look, y'all, we're talking about mother, father, we're talking about the elderly. Look, and what we're talking about, y'all, is they have to understand what that is eating. And if they've been already eating it and you're taking care of them in their last leg, what you want to try to do is show them the light. But if you sign that contract at work and say, yes, I will take them, I will go to the store and get what's on the list, you have to go and shop and get what's on the list, or you got to get another job. Look, you don't have to do it. Look, it said just don't touch their carcass for food. That means you don't eat it.
Right.
But you may have to pick it up, because if you want to run this as far as it goes, you can't eat no more fast food. You know why? Because they cook on a flat grill, which cooks the blood back into the meat. Not only that, but they don't switch grills, because you come in here like we done switch priesthood. You thinking there's a Hebrew in here, get the special grill. May I help you? Yeah, give me the big burger and with extra cheese. Yeah, put all that on it. But they don't roll out no special grill. You go to Steak and Shake, somebody been like, give me the Big Mama burger, extra bacon and extra pepperonis, and then you come in and you say, just give me the regular hamburger. They're going to put them side by side, and you're going to watch them cook, and you're going to watch that, and then you know what else you're going to do, Liza? You're going to reach in your pocket and pay for it. You got traces of pork in you. So that's why we're saying you have to be careful. There's no law that will grant salvation, because when you go into captivity, y'all, we can't, who in here know how to gut and clean animals that we would trust? No, not you, Thomas. No.
You've been on them seats.
You just start making your macaroni just right. You done cut out a couple. Look. So y'all, we have to understand these things, because look, once you run that line, you have to run that line all the way. You can't go to work if they serving pork in the restaurant. If you are a chef and you have to prepare pork, can you do it? Or you can't take that job.
Right.
You put your gloves on and you handle your business. This was Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians 8. Whatever soul in the shambles, 1 Corinthians 10, the shambles mean the marketplace. Right. For conscience sake, don't trip off of it or don't go. Right. Why are you going to question Mr. Snooks or Mr. Durbergs or Mr. Aldi, and you already, they better not have no swine in here. It better be in a beef case. If it ain't in a beef case and that pork casing in there, they gonna have some trouble. Who riding with me? Nobody right here. Look, they ain't changed the blade or nothing. The Most High cleanses that for us, because as long as you eating what's on the dietary list, Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14, he said, I'll cleanse the rest for you. I ain't sent y'all to captivity and make you suffer and break laws. I want you to understand. Because first of all, the kingdom ain't about meat and eats and drinks.
Exactly.
That's right.
The kingdom is about righteousness.
That's right.
And when you can be righteous in a fast like Christ was, look, we sweat the Day of Atonement 24 hours. He did 960 hours of fasting. Elijah did 960 hours of fasting. Moses did 960 hours of fasting. And we can't get through the Day of Atonement, and it's only 24 hours. Right. That's why the devil come to him and he say, you ready to eat, ain't you? Man shall not live by bread alone. Look, the Spirit fills us up. We filled up now. I got leftover LOs. They going to get ate up later. But the Spirit is rolling now. And time is moving, so we got to get going. I got about 15 minutes. Go ahead, where we at? So to understand working in the world, y'all, 1 Corinthians 10, 1 Corinthians 8, and the Messiah says, salute the house. Whatever you sign your name on, your word must be bond. Y'all, we have always been in kingdoms where we had to do different things. Joseph was in charge, second in command in Egypt. He handled all the affairs. That don't mean he was involved with the wickedness, but if he said we're going to do this day on this day to this God, he wrote that day down. But when it came to his God, he didn't do it.
Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego were mayors.
Look, they got promoted to corporate.
They were mayors and governors and everything. But when it came down to bowing to the image, they said, no. He had his job.
He didn't even eat the food then. When he said, y'all got to eat pork, he like, no, give me some beans and give me some crackers. And I want to look like I've been eating a steak. And what he did in Babylon, he turned toward Jerusalem. He opened his window 3 times a day, just like the script say, morning, noon, and night, and prayed 3 times a day. He did it facing Jerusalem. If we in Russia, Jerusalem is south to us, right? Yep. You have to turn to the south. We're in the west. That's the only reason we're turning to the east. You understand, bro? So this is what we have to understand. But your prayers don't stop. No matter where you go, you have to keep the commandments, because he said, what y'all going through, y'all that already did this. Yes. Y'all did it to the Assyrians. The Greeks had you. Now these Americans got you. Is Israel just a homeborn slave? Is that y'all just going to keep going into slavery?
Just can't get right.
Y'all just can't get right. Let's get some more, y'all. Let's speed this up. So working in the world, if your mother is like now, y'all see all them Christmas trees out there?
Paganism.
But ain't nothing in here, because that was the agreement we made. Now, Sunday, this same classroom is shared by Christianity on Sunday. But the agreement was they can't bring none of that in here, and we'll stay off too. What we gonna do, we put our menorah and we put it up because that represents Christ and the 7 spirits that was on them until Christ get back. So that's why we light the menorah, and we got that feast day coming up. At sundown.
Sunday, next weekend.
Sunday, yeah, this coming week, December the 18th, we got the Feast of Dedication. For 8 days, you got to light that menorah. If you don't have a menorah, then you have to have the light of Christ in you for 8 days. Because this is still symbolic. Y'all understand? But we got to keep that feast day, don't we?
Yes, sir.
For 8 days. If you ain't got your menorah, your time is short. We have to keep these, are called doctor's appointments.
That's right.
I bet everybody here know when Christmas is, don't they? Mm-hmm. What day Halloween on? Let's get some more, y'all. Where we at, y'all? So, y'all on the world part, whatever the contract you sign, make sure you're okay with the contract you sign for conscience sake. You can't go back on your conscience, because your conscience bears witness to you. Whose phone is that? Okay. Yeah, y'all put them phones on vibrate, y'all. So, y'all, look. We can't break the law that we say. Just like we have to break job. Who working at Anheuser-Busch? We got plenty of people. We got Jeremiah retired from there. Do you know they still got their riches off of slave labor? Would it be against the law for them to work for the slave master today? Or do we get that 35 an hour? Look here, Elisha. Quit drinking this beer too.
Yeah, right.
You're drinking that slave master beer. That Bud Light.
But likewise, when
drink some Rufus Light.
You sign a contract to get employed. Many of us sign that contract saying we'll work on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Just to get in, and then once you get the job, you don't want to work the Sabbath.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't have ever signed that contract and said I will work the Sabbath to have this job.
But see,
you signed the contract.
Yes,
now
you did.
You can't go back on the contract because of your conscience.
Right.
Now, you can go to them and try to negotiate. Look, I honor the Sabbath. May I have the Sabbath off? Now, some, like on my job, we usually have weekends off. However, because of the workload, sometimes I may have to come in on the Sabbath.
Right.
Because of the workload, and we have to get it out. So some days I may have to work on the Sabbath.
But if it's lawful to do right on the Sabbath day,
I'm able to pay my bills.
See, look, we're talking about the order of Melchizedek versus Aaron. The Messiah say men pick corn, and he said, your men picking corn and they eating on the Sabbath, that's against the law. You healed a man on the Sabbath, that's against the law. He like, you sitting up here acting like y'all Moses, and don't you know in Numbers 28, the priests sacrifice for y'all sins on the Sabbath day, and they blameless? Shit, if work stop for everybody. Y'all can't sin on the Sabbath then. That's what we would have been left with, Elisha.
And then
from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, not to cut you off. Y'all, sinning is off limits because the priest can't work. Do y'all understand what position we would have been in? So Melchizedek is always Trump. I want y'all to look at it like this. Aaron is state laws. Same laws. But Melchizedek is Fed law. It can go to any country on planet Earth. Missouri laws don't work in Kentucky, do it? No. Some of them do. But Fed law work in all 50 states, don't it?
That's right.
When the Fed come and get you, they got a 99% conviction rate, don't they?
That's right. State
Trump charges. State off a public defender who just got out of school.
Yeah. And working for the people.
Boy, look here. Let's pick this up, y'all. So when we talk about dealing with somebody, because the fifth commandment is honor thy mother and thy father. And he said, if you don't love your mother and your father, if you don't hate your mother and father, what that hate means is to love less. Because the Most High saw Leah, and it said, the Most High saw that Leah was hated. Leah wasn't hated, he just loved Rachel more. That's who he worked 20 years for. 7 years, Laban tricked him for another 7, and then he worked 6 more for one woman. And when he saw Leah was hated because they switched him, because he said, I can't get a firstborn to you first. And he switched him. When he woke up, he said, it's Leah. Now you got 2 wives, you got 2 sisters, and you've been lured into breaking the law because the law says you can't be married to 2 sisters as long as their parents are alive. So now he's tricked like him and his mama tricked Isaac for the blessing. Yeah. That's where the trickery came back on him, but twofold. So now he got to deal with Laban. And none of them wives he chose. So let's get this understood quickly, y'all. None of the patriarchs practiced what they call polygyny or multiple wives as a regular source and informed that it should be. It was happenstance, just like the law say, if a man take another wife. If your aunt has testes, what she's now?
Your uncle.
Your uncle. So look, if a man take another wife, it has to be laws there. This is the requirement. Exodus tells us what it is. Deuteronomy tells us he cannot diminish from this wife over here. If you got her a car, the new one get a car and the same apartment. Or you doing hustle and flow, you pimping. You running pimp game. How you got 4 women in the same house and all of them come on their administration at the same time? It smell like big cat country up there now.
House is unclean.
Look, sis, that was clean, sis. Look, she ain't never been to Forest Park Zoo, has she? But look, the house is unclean. Any penitentiary you go to, women penitentiary, all of them come on at the same time. That's why you can't have them stacked in houses. That's why Reuben, when you read in Jubilees, why Reuben went into Bilhah is because when Rachel died at 56 years old, he didn't pitch his tent in Leah, who was his technically first wife and Reuben's mother. He put his tent and put his hat in Bilhah's tent. Reuben got mad. He ought to be here with my mom over there. So Reuben started a plot and got Bilhah drunk and went in on his little brother's mama. Y'all understand? See, this Bible is graphic. Now, I can say more graphic than it's written, but I'm going to stop. Go ahead, let's read some more. Look, we had to, look, I'm just putting it in parables.
That's a parable.
Yours ain't parable. Straight to the point.
Let's get it, y'all. Real quick. So, y'all, look. So, the next one was, but look, you got to love your parents less because they need Christ's breath in their body to survive. All he's telling you is, if you love them like God and you disrespect me, I'm going to put your mama down, then I'm going to put you down. So, you understand what I'm talking about. What you got back there, Tom? Coach, go ahead.
You love your mother more than me?
Look, that's what he said. He asked, like, do you love my sheep? So, y'all, but that don't mean hate your mother. That's player hate. What means is you got to say, Mama, I just, look, Mama, if you say the job say I had to go buy you that, buying it, but look, I'm not cooking it. So you have to really make up your mind where you gonna be. Like you take a job as a chef, you can't decide, well, look, man, I'm on Thursday, man. We don't cook shrimp on Thursday. Right. If you can set that up, set it up. But you cannot sign a contract and go back on your word. Right. I don't care what you say. Leviticus said that. Well, if you knew Leviticus said that, why you take that job? Why didn't go to the pancake house that don't serve no pork and work there? or Woodson Road in Natural Bridge. No pork there. But guess what the other problem is? Arabs run it. We go to the food market over there on 270 in Lindbergh. It's all kosher, dog. It ain't like Sula Market. They ain't got no pork in there where they serve Allah.
Right. It's the law.
Have they prayed over that beef you going and get?
Right.
But y'all, it tell us our idol is nothing. Unless they tell you this meat has been sacrificed to our idol God. That's the only time you can't buy or eat clean meat.
Right.
So y'all, let's move to the next one. We just gonna give scriptures, y'all, on these next ones. Y'all read it when you get to it. And this next one is concerning, can you do feast days outside the land? And they going with Deuteronomy 16:2. So give me Deuteronomy 16:2. We just gonna show you where they go first. And then we gonna clear it up. We already read where the first Passover was outside Jerusalem, wasn't it?
Right. Egypt.
And the 38 of them was in Gilgal. So we already start off the gate outside of Jerusalem.
Exactly.
Numbers 9 tell you outside Jerusalem we was in the wilderness.
Yep.
So now that's Deuteronomy 16:2. Real quick, y'all going one line and y'all read all of. Give me Leviticus 23:31. Because that's very important about these feast days. Leviticus 23 tell us we must keep these feast days. But to get the understanding, what they try to do is Deuteronomy 16:2, where it say 3 times a year you must come up to Jerusalem. Well, if you're in the penitentiary, how you going to go up to Jerusalem? Does that let you out of doing that feast day to keep that law? Because everybody going to be going to jail then, ain't they? To get out of it. But with Christ being the unblemished lamb, you still can do the Passover in the penitentiary. Going out? Okay, go ahead. Where we at?
We're in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 2.
What it say, bro?
Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Most High thy Elohim of the flock and the herd.
Right.
In the place which Yahweh shall choose to place his name there.
So he chose Jerusalem. But that was why we were free when we was reading these instructions, right? So we see that y'all read on down, but give me that Leviticus 23:31. What that say? And these are the feast days. Leviticus 23 start off. These are your feast days. And do you know the Sabbath day is considered a feast day? Can we do that outside the land?
Yeah.
So y'all, if you say we can't do them feast days, then we can't do Sabbath. We can't do this worship outside the land.
Right.
We got to wait till we get back home.
Man,
We wasted our time. We could be watching football.
You can't do nothing outside of the lane if that was the case.
Boy, look here. What that say, bro, real quick?
Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 23, what did you say, bro?
31.
Verse 31.
Yeah.
Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
In all your dwellings, right?
It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. And ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even to even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath.
Now this is the Day of Atonement. It say in all your dwellings. Where we dwell at? Where we dwell at?
No, it was talking about atonement in the
Where we dwell at?
Babylon.
We dwell in Babylon.
Right.
That means we have to keep the Sabbath in Babylon. Right. So you have to make your mind up and say, did he change the laws? I can't keep the Sabbath. You're going to be down to one law you keep. And it's going to be called being fruitful and multiply. That's the only one you're going to keep. 612, you're going to push them out of the way.
But if you ain't taking care of them, you're an infidel.
Yeah, look here. See, and that's the fine line between working on the Sabbath too, because 1:10:5 say, if you don't take care of your household, you worse than an infidel. So you juggling this? I quit my job because it's on the Sabbath, and then I can't pay the bills at the house, and everybody starved. That baby done had that pamper on for a week because I can't buy him nothing.
That's why them flies.
Boy, look here. You thought that somebody was playing pool and dumped all the balls in the back of that diaper.
Oh, boy.
Let's get some more, y'all. Let's run these real quick. So we got them two that where it says that. Give me 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. And this is Paul in Ephesus. And then give me Tobit 2 and 1, y'all. We'll close out on this one. Because all we have to do is show 2 witnesses. In the book of Tobit, y'all, chapter 2, verse 1. And that was when we was in captive in Nineveh. And chapter 1, he tells us we only supposed to keep the laws in the land. So Tobit knew it. Mm-hmm. He knew the rules. But then he understood when you go into captivity. That's why the Bible explains itself. These are the rules. If you find yourself in this position, this priesthood alters that for you to keep you in check. You know, because ain't no way to get to Jerusalem. How you on papers? Hell, we can't leave Missouri, can you?
Not when you on
Technically, if you on papers, can you? How you gonna go back to Jerusalem doing anything and you need a
go past
passport?
Jefferson County.
Boy, look here. Police pull you over, you holler, man, wait till you get that cornfield. I'm jumping out, dog, I'm on papers. What the hell did you get in the car for and you know you on papers? Right. And you strike out running through a cornfield. Who was that in the car? Which I don't know, I picked him up, he was a hitchhiker. That's the only thing you can say? Y'all, the laws are not grievous. What we got? Go ahead, Elijah, who got that? 1 Corinthians 5 and 7.
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. Your glory is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us.
Right.
Therefore let us keep the feast.
Let us do what?
Keep the feast. Not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness.
So we only wanted y'all to see that, but y'all back it up and you'll see he's in Ephesus. That where he telling them, y'all keep the feast of unleavened bread. That's Pentecost. No, I'm sorry, that's Passover, and then the 7 days before Pentecost. So that's in Ephesus. He told the disciples, he went and trained, y'all keep the feast. Look, the order of the gospel was to go to everybody in every nation. If everybody in every nation came up to Jerusalem, what the space going to be? If all of us in this room and our families go, it's 40 million of us here, and we got 11 other tribes. Where you going to fit them at? Huh?
Gonna be tight.
What airline we going to get on?
Soul Plane.
Boy, look here, Soul Plane, we done had enough of that. And you let Snoop Dogg fly?
Right.
Where we at, y'all? Look, these last ones, y'all. So give me Tobit. And y'all, this is in the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is also mentioned in the Bible. Of all the writings of the Bible, they keep the law, statutes, and judgment. Y'all, we read from the Apocrypha and any book that the Bible tells us to read. Some books we ain't found yet, like the book of Edo. It tells us to study out of that. But when we find Edo, if Edo breaks a law, that's not a good version. If this breaks the law, it's not a good version. If you find law breaking in here, put it to the side. But we ain't gonna have no Quran up here. Not when every Muslim you talk to, brother, you know your Bible. Shouldn't it be, brother, you know your Quran?
Exactly.
That's a problem with Malcolm X in jail, and he had to use the Bible to prove his point to the Christian preacher in there. And the Hebrews black. He didn't say nothing about the tribe of Shabazz, did he?
No.
The tribe of Shabazz is black. Who they talking about? Who you talking about? Shazam? Who Gomer Powell was talking about Shazam? Let's get it, y'all. Tobit chapter 1, verse 1, and then give me 2 and 1. Y'all, we're going to close on out of here.
Tobit chapter 1, verse 1.
If y'all got the Apocrypha, y'all can pull it up on the smartphone or make a note, y'all.
Tobit chapter 1, verse 1.
Read verse 1, skip down to verse 4. Y'all read everything in between. Go ahead.
The book of the words of Tobit, son of Tobel,
the
son of Aniel, the son of Adel, the son of Gabel, of the seed of Asher, of the tribe of Naphtali.
Of the tribe of who?
Naphtali.
See how we keep our lineages intact, just like Paul said in Romans 11. He said, I'm a Roman citizen, but if you want to know my tribal origin, I'm of the tribe of Benjamin, of the 12 tribes of Israel. So y'all don't get it twisted. I'm not calling myself no Roman citizen from that perspective. I'm just telling you I dwell in Rome. And they calling the shots, but if you want to know my heritage, I'm from Benjamin. That's who Paul was from.
That's right.
And he's from Naphtali. Go ahead, what did it say? Did you finish that? Skip down to verse 4.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
And when I was in my own country, in the land of Israel, being but young, all the tribe of Naphtali, my father fell from the house of Jerusalem. which was chosen out of the tribes of Israel.
Right.
That all the tribes should sacrifice there. Where the temple of the habitation of the Most High was consecrated and built for all ages.
So if you just read the rest of it, you see what he's talking about. He know the law, but the temple is torn down. It's defaced. So ain't nothing there. But when you get to 2 and 1, what he say?
Tobit chapter 2, verse 1.
And now when y'all read verse 1, you know what else Tobit was doing? You're not supposed to leave a dead body out and the sun go down. Nineveh was forcing them, saying, y'all better not bury them. Let them stay out all night. Let the wolves get them. Tobit would sneak out at night and bury people. Not only that, but Tobit would bring dead bodies in his home and hide them in the basement until he could sneak out and bury bodies. Because he knew the law, and he's doing the law in a strange land. How are we going to do all the laws but keep the feast day?
Right.
You're going to wear fringes, but you saying we can't keep the feast days. You're chopping into laws. Adding and taking away is adding and taking away. Go ahead. Where we at?
Tobit chapter 2, verse 1.
What it say?
Now when I was come home again, and my wife Anna was restored unto me, with my son Tobias.
Tobias is talking about you.
In the feast of Pentecost.
In the feast of what?
Pentecost. Which is the holy feast of the 7 weeks.
Right.
There was a good dinner prepared me, in which I sat down to eat.
See, now where is he at when he doing this? Ain't this in Nineveh? Mm-hmm. He said, when I came home, my wife prepared a feast for me. Y'all see, we thinking about elaborate feasts all the time. The Most High say don't do nothing but look. If all you can afford is a 2-piece and a biscuit, and you say it's the feast of the Lord, and you give him first fruits, you thank him, you're keeping that feast day where you dwell. What you gonna do in a penitentiary? You think they gonna give you lamb? You better tell the ward it's my feast day, and I'm sick of this ham hock helper. I'm not gonna eat another one. I want some lamb today. What you think the warden gonna do?
Solitary.
Put you in solitary for the feast day.
No, what you do is you get commissary and you make them Roman noodles taste like manna bread.
Yeah, right.
See y'all, when the Most High is on her, look, do y'all know in the law that where manna bread, because whatever your heart desire, that bread would taste like that when it hit your mouth, because it was considered angel food. You could say, I want it to taste like filet mignon.
Mm-hmm. I thought you was finna say mignon. Boy.
Oh, that's what it means?
Man.
Okay, all right. Some filet mignon.
No.
And that bread, that unleavened bread would taste like it. You could say whatever I want to your heart's desire, and it would taste like that. That's what manna bread from heaven did. So you wouldn't have no desire to go back to Egypt. I want this to taste like Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch it'll taste like. It all cold. If you rotten, it could taste just like ham hocks.
But the food will make you want to come back. Because when I lived in California, I was missing rice and red hot riblets and all that.
Boy. So y'all read all the rest of Tobit, the events that took place, and not only that, but you see a marriage ceremony with Tobit, and you'll see it also, and y'all read all of Tobit, you'll see that a succubus was attacking his future wife and killed her husband. Had killed 7 of them before they pulled his sheets back. The devil would just strangle them out. So the Most High sent an angel to them and told them, this is what you need to do. These are the rules. Don't light no incense. Don't throw no sage over your shoulder. Don't throw no salt that way. He said, you go get the gall of a fish, of this fish, and you go get this, and what you do, as soon as you get in the marriage chamber, light that and watch that smoke. And as soon as he lit it, now look, her parents had already dug his grave for the 8th husband. They had already dug it, didn't show it to him. You know, he be dead in the morning. So, but he followed instructions, and he lit that, and the devil smelled it and got the hell out of there. And that angel that was sent to him bound him in the river Euphrates. Bound that demon. One of them rivers somewhere in Egypt. He bound that demon though, and he married her. And they sent, you go in there and look and see if he dead. They went in there, boy, and he was snuggling. Yes, sir. That's all right, ain't it, Naomi? Yes, sir. Yeah, look. When they went in, they say, he ain't dead. He ain't dead. You know why? And then see, when we're talking about conscious and supernatural, we got laws, Deuteronomy 23:10. We got Leviticus 15 chapter. It say, if a man have a nocturnal emission, and only men know about that, ain't no children. If he have a wet dream,
Right.
he got to do exactly what Leviticus 15 say. And I want you to understand, I'm going to cut this graphic. You're dreaming of being fruitful and multiply. And it goes with no friction. You just got soggy underwear. You have to do what Leviticus 15 say. If something supernaturally happens to you, when you awake, you can't make that happen. With your eyes wide open, you can't make what happened when you sleep flat on your back. When you awake, I ain't going to say it.
Right.
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it.
I ain't going to say it, really. But that's what we're trying to get you to understand. The devil attacks at night. Just like the hour of prayer is 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's the 9th hour. There's something called the 4th watch of the night. That where the devil comes, and every time he attacking, you wake up, the clock is going to say 3 a.m. That's the 4th watch of the night. That's when he come to catch you like this. I want to see how tough you was talking down there in that Bible class, talking about what you was going to do. Now I'm going to see what you going to do now. Can you wake up? Yeshua! Mama! That's what he want, mama. And then your family going to be saying he died in his sleep. But if you call on the Messiah 3 times, the devil will release you. And you will sit straight up. But you have to be prepared for that war because you have to go to sleep. That's what the Sabbath is. The body must rest. If you scared of the devil in your sleep, the body's going to shut down. COVID going to take over you. Every disease on the planet because the body cannot function without rest. That was the first purpose. Rest the body. A computer will shut down if you keep running it 7 days a week. It go into hibernation, won't it? It'll go into hibernation on you. Be doing like this. What it mean when I keep doing this and it don't run? It's in hibernation. What I do then? Let it rest.
Right. Plug it up to the power source.
What you got back there, 2-by? I'm gonna read this last one. Go ahead.
Sister Hannah and I had a question too that the bride wanted me to ask for. She says, when the last trumpet blows, do we suppose that I be ready to go somewhere, or will he come get us and gather us up from those that are going to be saved?
Look, Ezekiel 20:33 on down starts with there's going to be a second gathering of the children of Israel, but the world is the wilderness. Not just one place. He said, but it's going to be, the world is going to be set up just like Egypt. They're going to run Egypt's currency. That's why the back of your dollar, it don't matter what country we go to, that dollar works in the Amazon jungle with grass skirts on and bones in their nose. Show them a ruble, show them a Deutschmark, and then show them a $1 bill and see how their eyes light up.
They want that $1.
They want that $1 bill. What you got to say?
That's why a lot of times when people go from America to foreign countries, they'll see some grass and start weaving it so that you can buy a souvenir because they know American money is worth more than theirs, and black people, I want to buy that because it's a souvenir reminding people that I went this place.
Good.
The thing of it is they don't care what they get, they'll find something because they know when you're an American from the outward appearance, and they want the American dollar.
Well, good. It's made in there, just like if we go to Jerusalem and bring something back. I got this in the land, in my homeland. So, but the deal is, if I work at Family Dollar, I'm a corporate executive in a poor country. If I go to Peru or Panama with Family Dollar wages, I am top dog.
Yes, sir. 'Cause you got
with that check of
money.
$216. I got Powerball winners in them poor nations. Because a peso, it takes 2,400 pesos to make $1. So this is what we're talking about, sis. So what we're trying to get the understanding of, there's no location salvation. Ain't no way you can go, but that Ezekiel 20:33, we finished with it. Just hit that real quick so we know that the world is Egypt. Ezekiel 20:33. So you understand that when we was in Egypt, if you say it has to be just like when we was in Egypt, we never left Egypt for all 10 plagues, did we? Not one fly moved on us. So all these tornadoes keep coming around, but don't no tornadoes go down Martin Luther King. Right. Don't no tornadoes go down Jefferson. The last tornado hit St. Louis was in 59, I believe, when it was 80% white.
Yep.
That's the last time.
Went straight down Delmar.
We don't get his. When the flood of 93, like you didn't, Chesterfield was tore up, wasn't it?
Yep.
But the Corps of Engineers is standing on the side of the Mississippi River on East St. Louis side and say they don't even pack the dikes. How is the water not busting through here? Because the Lord protect us. Don't you know if we lost out on Elijah, we'd be through?
Laclede Landing was all underwater, but East St. Louis did not flood.
Did not flood.
That means the river had to do that.
And stay away from over there.
Engineers couldn't figure it out. They
Hell.
said this had to be an act of God because ain't no way the river could do that. Because Laclede Landing was completely underwater.
Yes, sir. All the way up to the arch steps, wasn't it?
No, it was past
It was all the way up the steps.
First Street.
And y'all understand this too. Those idols are gateways. Y'all, we're going to say this. We're going to let you go. Those idols are gateways. Do you know the arch was a design by a CIA agent that was into ESP heavy? The arch, the sun shines on the old courthouse through the arch. The arch is a portalway. Do you know also when storms come through St. Louis, because of what the arch is doing, they go around the arch?
Yeah.
And they meet back up on the other side of the arch and continue to go?
It's a portal.
It's a portal. These are markings, like Abraham marked portals, Jacob, Abraham marked a portal. This is where the intervention came from. Every space shuttle that go up, they're waiting for the perfect time when that portal open, or they'll burn up. They can't come back in until another portal open up.
That's why St. Louis has always had a dark cloud over it. It has a portal. They call it the gateway.
Last slave state, Elijah.
Last slave state.
Dred Scott decision.
They say it's a gateway to the west, but it's a portal to hell.
It's a portal to hell. Every Roman kingdom, the only things left is the pillar and the archway.
Yep.
It marks where their demonic teaching, because Satan will run up and down them portals as well, because he go back and forth with the angels, don't he? Mm-hmm. Satan, what you here for again today? You want to test Job? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He has that power, but only that power. Get that Ezekiel 20:33, y'all will close out.
Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 33.
Yeah.
As I live, says Elohim, surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you.
Right.
And I will bring you out from the people.
From the who?
The people.
See, because we're in the four corners of the earth now. We ain't just in Egypt. Go ahead.
And will gather you out of the country where you are scattered. With a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Right.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
Of the who?
Of the people. And there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, saith the Elohim. And I will cause you to pass under the rod. And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Jeremiah 31:31, Hebrews 8:8. That's the bond of the covenant, where we won't have to write things down. He gonna put the law on our heart. Jeremiah 31:31, Old Testament, New Testament, Hebrews 8:8 gonna say the same exact thing. Go ahead, Elisha.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
Who we gonna purge out?
The rebels.
See, John 3:18 say, anybody that say Christ has not come in the flesh, or he's not the Messiah, is condemned already. Ain't no need in getting a lawyer. You're condemned already. Right. What else it say, Elisha?
I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. And they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Elohim. As for you, O house of Israel, thus saith the Elohim, go ye, serve ye, every one his idol, and hereafter also, if you will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts and with your idols. For in mine holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel, saith Elohim, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings, and the first fruits of your oblation, and with all your holy things.
So y'all look, that's say in the future, because we're in the wilderness of the people. Judah is scattered to the four corners of the earth. I'm gonna pull you from the four corners of the earth. The people are the wilderness, y'all. We're talking about how to work with unbelievers, non-believers, because he sent us out into the world, didn't he? Yeah. Matthew 28, this is what y'all need to go preach the gospel to everybody that believeth.
Everybody.
Every nation, everything. To Israel first. That's the order. You got to tell them Israelites first, and then you go to the rest of the nation. That's what Paul said in Romans 2:9 and 2:10. Tribulation, anguish, and punishment to the who first? And then the who?
Gentiles.
Honor, glory, and majesty to everyone that worketh righteousness. To the who first?
The Jew first.
And then to who?
The Gentiles.
Y'all, it ain't hard to understand what these scripts talking about, y'all. We just want to try to interpret them ourselves. It don't need our help. I'm just 61 days old. What I'm talking about, something was here 2,000 years before I was even thought of. And you know, you think that I said, no, we don't know everything. We don't claim to know everything. But if we play by the rules, it don't matter who we go with, because everybody must play by the rules. I don't care who you bring in here. You can bring Harriet Tubman. You can bring Frederick Douglass in here. You can bring Farrakhan in here. But when we open these scripts up, 15 to get on board, 10 thereafter. Just like dominoes. Now, you won't let them cheat in dominoes or spade. Why are we going to let you cheat in this word, Lisa?
No, it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't going to happen, Captain. Of 50. Go ahead.
The truth does not need people.
It don't need no support. It don't need nothing to me, because I'm supposed to be dead the way I was clowning out in them streets.
Yes. Yes.
Dead long time ago.
Let them lead men on.
Look here. How you fall asleep on the highway and wake up and looking around like this? You was on Lucas and Hunt, now you at Grand and you like this. The hell you think that was?
Not grand.
Boy, look here, just and wake up and looking around. I miss my exit. You miss your exit way back there before Jennings. Hey, y'all. Yo, look, the last one they asked, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? We're going to just give you the script. We're going to close out. Read all of Micah 4. And you're going to see the Messiah coming from Bethlehem, from Judea of old. John 1:46. Can anything good thing come out of Nazareth? Because Christ dwelt in Nazareth. Nazareth was like Kinloch mixed with Pine Lawn, mixed with East St. Louis on State Street behind the old Coleman's Plaza. All that tied up and together was what Nazareth was like. That's why Isaiah 53 say he coming, he's a root out of dry ground. You can't get roots out of dry ground. But that meant that there was no doctrine that was going around that was preaching Messiah. So he became a root out of dry ground. Like, how is that growing like that? If you see a dirt patch where you've been playing basketball and it turned to dirt, and you see a root come out with a flower, you be like, how is that happening? A root out of dry ground. That's why I ask, who do men say I am? Mm-hmm. Some say you John the Baptist. Others say you Jeremiah, one of the prophets. And then he say, who you say I am? You the Son of God. He say, flesh and blood ain't told you that. My Father told you that. You heard that. Because if you're John the Baptist, this is what these numbskull camps run with and say reincarnation. That's what reincarnation. If the talk is you're John the Baptist was 6 months older than Christ. They walked around in baby shoes at the same time. In the hell he reincarnated to John. But they'll run them scripts on you. They'll one-line you. They'll one-line you to death. Keep them on the law, y'all. Keep them on the priesthood. Soon as you start talking to somebody, what priest are we talking about right now? That's what you must ask before we go forward. Unblemished lamb, born of a virgin. You can drink from this cup then. If you got anything else going, making the Messiah blemished, then there's a problem with your Messiah. I don't care about you calling his name. Can you like? He said, many gonna come in my name saying I'm Messiah. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't know you. Depart from me. What you mean, Joseph, my real dad? They came and told your mom and your daddy been looking with you. What he say? Who my mom and my dad?
Those that do the will of my Father, the same is.
My mom and my daddy. Joseph and them come out. She say, don't you know? He like, I'm about my Father's business. Joseph was right there. He like, son, you ain't built no cabinets. Wasn't he a carpenter?
But then he said, nonetheless, he went with them.
Yes, he did. He subjugated himself to his parents because he couldn't show nobody, Elisha, that he disrespecting his mom.
That's right.
He went on home with him. Okay, y'all looking for me. I'm good, y'all, mama. But you know I'm about my Father's business. Mm-hmm. So, y'all, we're going to close on out with that. Anybody got any questions before we close out? Any questions, y'all? Look up God's Warrior 298. Y'all got any questions? Post it out there.
I don't have any questions, but
go ahead, sis.
For those that didn't know or did, I want to thank you all for praying for me and my grandson. 22-month-old grandson was in a terrible car accident on Friday on Lucas Hunt. Wow. In the evening. It was like 4 cars. They got towed up. One got knocked over into a ditch. A lady got pulled out. And when it was all said and done, people was on the ground getting escorted at the ambulance. When me and my grandson walked out. Walked out. My car tore up. I don't care. So, but the irony of that is 2 or 3 hours before that accident happened, I was giving a testimony to a young lady that don't do church. She says she believes in God, but I was witnessing to her. And I got so deep into it, and I've never done that before. I got so deep. So she said, man, I've never heard anybody explain the Lord to me like that, because I never grew up in church. I don't know anything.
Right.
And I got to talking to her about the Sabbath. I said, the Sabbath's about to come, and I'm so ready to go home and lay down and just rest in Him for 24 hours. I don't do the phone. I don't do any of that. She said, yeah, I noticed that when we talk. A lot of times I would call you during those hours, you wouldn't answer. I said, well, that's why. So she was just grateful for me to talk to her. Right before I was trying to get my grandson home. I'm right at his house.
Right there, all the way.
Right there. He live on Lucas Hunt. I'm right there. I'm getting ready to get to Lutheran North to turn around to be on the same side of the street. My daughter's apartment is on. Out of nowhere, I'm in the right lane. A guy coming up the opposite way. I don't know even where he come from. The car in front of me slowed down. I zoomed to the right to keep from running into him. That car came all the way over, missed that car and hit me. And then it hit me. Whoever came up behind me came around, knocked his car back. He went backwards, so he was knocked out. His car started spinning, going backwards and hit the curb. Another car ran over into the ditch. I don't know no more, other than I grabbed my phone. I looked at my grandson. It was dark. He was bleeding on his face. I think he just busted his lip from the seatbelt, or he probably bit his lip. But that was all wrong. That was all that was wrong.
Praise the Most High.
No fractures, just sore, but I'm good.
See y'all.
I want to thank God for allowing us to still be here and my grandson, because I honestly believe there's something for him to do. Because the way he came into this world is a long story, but the way he got here, I just believe God got something for him.
Absolutely.
So I'm grateful. And then my daughter, she believes like we do. She's not deep into it, but she told me and my husband, y'all can raise him in this faith because I know it's true.
Absolutely. So they made you a surety in that sense because of the word of the Most High, y'all. But that's what we talking about. But see, your testifying, if you turn a sinner from his bad ways, you hide a multitude of sins. And look, from you and them. Because if you tell them not to do it, you can't be caught doing it. So you wipe away sins from both parties.
That's right. And that head was a help too, wasn't it? So I had to do it.
And look, girl, we know it's powerful. You ain't even got no Maynards on your forehead. Y'all know what a Maynard is? It may go down or it may not.
And here's another thing. When I got to the hospital, the Lord said, call her. I called that young lady back, and she answered the phone and said, oh, I know you're not calling me in the Sabbath hour. I said, don't joke right now. I just want you to know I'm in the hospital. I was in a terrible car accident. She said, what? She said, look at that. You was just talking to me about how good God is. Come on. I said, well, you know Satan, man. I just needed you to know.
Yeah, man.
Gotta go.
He didn't want you to come back today, but he's defeated today because her spirit is still strong. That's till the casket drop, because most would have been here. See, that's all that Hebrew stuff. That's why the Lord don't like that. See, that's why He sent them killers for you. No, that was the devil trying to break ranks.
Yeah, we on the devil's hit list, but we on Christ's most wanted list. Satan can go to hell, first class mail with gasoline riches.
Y'all hear that? Say, put Satan in some gasoline draw.
Hell no. Been through enough hell in this world. Why in hell would have gone to hell? Let's have all about it. Don't know, don't care, ain't trying to find out.
Tell us how you really feel, sister. Tell us how you really feel. All praises, sister. Y'all know how we do it. We gotta turn toward Holy Jerusalem in 1 Kings 8th chapter. Daniel chapter 6 verse 10. Isaiah chapter 2. We turn toward Holy Jerusalem wherever you're at. We in the west, we turn toward the east. 1 Corinthians 11, men are to uncover their head, women are to cover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly only in the church. Church is 2 or more gathered. So if it's 2 of y'all, hats come off of men, women covered up. If it's 2, that's still church. So we turn to our whole drill. Them the rules, y'all. 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8 say, hold your hands up high, y'all, so the Most High can lift us up, because we children.
All right, family, we're going to get this closing prayer. And it is with the Most High's permission.
Yes, sir.
And it's in the name of His only begotten Son,
Yes, sir.
our Lord and Savior and our Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach. But we know Him as Jesus the Christ, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Long live the King.
Long live the King!
Reading in the book of Psalms,
Creator.
in the 111th chapter, it reads, Praise ye the Most High.
Yes, sir.
I will praise Yahweh with my whole heart.
With your whole heart.
In the assembly of the upright and in the congregation. The works of Yahweh are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His work is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endureth forever. He hath made his wonderful works to be remembered. Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion.
Yes.
He hath given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenant.
Yes, sir.
He hath showed his people the power of his works,
Yes.
that he may give them the heritage of the heathen.
Thank you, Father.
The works of his hands are verity and judgment.
Yes. Yes.
All his commandments are sure.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
They stand fast forever and ever,
Yes, sir.
and are done in truth and uprightness.
Yes, sir.
He sent redemption unto his people.
Glory.
He hath commanded his covenant forever.
Yes, sir.
Holy and reverend is his name.
Yes, sir.
The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom.
Read.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
Yes, sir.
His praise endureth
Yes.
forever.
Yes.
Hallelujah! Say wow!
Yes, sir. If y'all got a shekel or 2, y'all, we greatly appreciate it. Total again to the worldwide family, y'all, for all y'all do. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
All praises. Y'all got